Hello and welcome to the JV Nation for our first 2022 NCAA Tournament Selection Show live chat and reaction, guys. And so it is here, the moment that we've all been waiting for, guys, to see what exactly will our favorite teams, what path will they have to go? Obviously, there's some teams right now that they're just nervous about just getting in there. Others, they recently found out that they earned their way and just want to see their matchups. And so it's going to be really fun to determine and see, which teams are going to be where, but this is going to be very exciting. I'm certainly looking forward to it, guys. So this will be a great one. Just got to wait a couple more minutes here until we actually start getting some of the live reveal here. And so let's see. Oh, man, we meet again. You say back at it again, JV. So, yeah, you already know. Absolutely. Just making sure I got everything set up here on my end to get ready for this. Okay, maybe just... All right, let's see how that works out. Okay, perfect. Can I move? Just looking to see which angle looks the best. All right, I think this will probably work out best there, so I'm not covering any of the bracket there. So that works out. All right, perfect. But yeah, oh man, I'm definitely excited to see how this is going to play out here. Obviously, want to see what path my Buckeyes are going to have there in this tournament there. And quite frankly, yeah, I don't expect the Buckeyes to get too far this year, but I'm hoping we do. But the expectations aren't there. But I'm really going to be interested to see in the path that these teams in the Big Ten that they're going to have here. Because honestly, I'd love to see a Big Ten team get hot and make a deep run this year. Would love to see that. But there's going to be so many teams there, so we finally get to see the brackets and see how this is going to all play out and try to guess and anticipate who's going to be some Cinderella teams. But tell me, old man, I mean, what are your expectations for Virginia Tech in this tournament here? Obviously, we got to see once the brackets start unfolding here, but what are your expectations for Virginia Tech? Braden says, we back. Let's go. You already know. Yes. Interested to see where your Hawkeyes are going to end up at, man. I'm really intrigued to see, are they going to be a 4 seed like everybody's been projecting? That's probably like what they're going to be, a 4 or a 5. I'm really looking to see. Brayden says, I was first Big Ten tournament championship since 2006. And so it feels great, doesn't it? It feels great. And you know what? This is what I love so much about college hoops. Because honestly, when it comes to, college football, you win your conference, depending on what conference you're in, you're still not exactly excited because you're like, well, if you're a Pac-12 team, you're not excited because you're like, well, we don't get to the tournament anyways. But at least with this, you already knew you guys were in there to begin with. But this feels extra special and all like that, just because, and I love that about college basketball. I do. Let's see. All right, so Braden thinks there'll be a 5 or a 6. I would go 5. But I can definitely see that being the case. And looking at some of the teams that have automatic bids there, I see good old Georgia State, for representing my state in Georgia. I see UAB. I used to actually work there a couple years ago. So just looking out there at some of the teams that have their automatic qualifiers going. And so, Alan, what's good with you? And so you say, who you got in the Final Four? And so for me, I feel like I'll go ahead and put Gonzaga up there in terms of Final Four, and I'll go ahead and put Kansas up there for right now. Those are two that I'm pretty solid on in terms of that. The rest, I really got to see how these brackets are going to play out, though. But once we go ahead and conclude the brackets and we know who's all playing, I'll go ahead and just reevaluate that, and I'll let you guys know how it plays. As a matter of fact, I'm planning on go ahead and just going through my bracket and stuff like that, set it up, and then probably just as we'll do one as JB Nation, like all of us just talk through it, and we'll decide together by just voting upon which team we think are going to win, stuff like that. Go through it that way, and I'll let you guys know my thoughts as well after we have the big reveal, which will be starting very soon. So a lot to look forward to here. A lot. I'm excited. But who you got for your Final Four? Yeah, I got to see this bracket here because there are some teams here that need to avoid other teams to have that success. All right, guys, but it's so close here to start of the selection tournament, guys. And so you guys see I've got my empty bracket up here, so I'm going to go ahead and be filling this out as it goes on. But yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing that. I mean, I'm really going to be intrigued to see the path of a team like Arizona, Texas Tech. Obviously, I love Ohio State, so I'm going to be really watching that. Even Auburn, their path, I'm going to be fully invested in that as well. So many things to look out for in this one. Like, where does North Carolina end up at? Teams like that. So, and then Davidson lost earlier today. How much is this going to hurt them? We're going to find that out as well. But also, anybody that is tuning in here, if you haven't already and you want to be a part of it, make sure that you guys look inside the description there. I dropped the link for the ESPN Pick'em Challenge that I'm having here. And so it is a private thing, so you'll have to enter the password I put below it as well. But yeah, anybody's welcome to join there. If you haven't already, you'll be able to create up to 7 different brackets there according to this. So definitely, if you want to be a part of that, make sure you go ahead and join already. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this, guys. But now's a good time while we've got basically everybody here that's right now that's waiting on this to get started. Who are some teams that's going to be in the tournament that you guys are already rooting for, regardless of the matchup there? You want to see these teams go far into the tournament or maybe even win it all. What are some teams right now that they've piqued your interest throughout the regular season and you're just a fan of these teams? Let me know. Let's see. Allen says he's got the Zags, Jayhawks, Arizona, and the Cinderella team because they always are one every year. That is true. That is true. That is true. Let's see. Mike says, in the past, do you remember any head scratchers, JB or JB Nation? And so, yeah, I mean, there's been a few years that there's been some head scratchers in terms of teams that have gone very far. I remember, I forget what year it was, but there was one year that I saw South Carolina men's basketball program catch fire in the tournament, and I thought they were going to go ahead and maybe win it all. I think they made it to like the Final Four or something that year. And so that was a year that it really was like, wow, that's crazy. And of course, the tournament is all about upsets and stuff. But if you mean like head scratchers in terms of teams getting in, I got to go back to when I think the year that LSU had got in because they had Ben Simmons that year. But if memory serves me right, they were not that good of a team that year, and they were actually on a very cold streak, but somehow they got in that year, if that's what you mean in terms of head scratchers. But there's always upsets, though, that happen, of course, where teams just get hot, and you're like, where was this all regular season? I mean, last year, shoot. I mean, UCLA, you can mention them. Let's see, Mike says, how far have they reached? And so, yeah, UCLA got to like the Final Four last year, if I'm not mistaken. And so, Philip, what's good? What's good, Philip? And you say Indiana teams. Okay, so Philip like Indiana teams. And so I'm going to be rooting really hard this year for the Big Ten as a conference here because we need someone to bring it home, guys. And so I'm a Big Ten guy. So I'm going to be rooting really hard here to see Big Ten teams go out there and just win your matchups and stuff. And so that's what I'm hoping to see happen here. But obviously, there's a lot of interesting teams out there this year, of course. And so it's going to be a lot of great basketball all around. And I just cannot wait to start seeing the unveil here. All right. All right, so there we go, guys. So good old Gonzaga. Let's see the western side here. So Gonzaga, they'll be playing Thursday. All right, so give me 1 second. I'm not sure. Okay, you guys probably can't see that, so I'll have to make this one bigger here. But Gonzaga versus Georgia State. All right, and I will make it bigger, guys, so I apologize about that if you guys are up here. But man, Gonzaga versus Georgia State. All right, then we've got Boise State versus Memphis. All right. And again, I'm over here typing it as well, but I don't have to make it bigger once I get a break. All right, let's see another Thursday matchup. Uconn versus, let's see who Uconn's going to be playing. Let's see that Boise State Memphis game. That'll be interesting there. Uconn versus New Mexico State. New Mexico State went 26-6 on the year. Uconn went 23-9. Okay. And again, this is the West region here. So this is the West region right here. All right. So, Arkansas versus Vermont here. Okay. And yeah, guys, I will make this one bigger for you guys in a second. All right. So we got Rutgers from the Big Ten in here. Okay. All right. Rutgers and Notre Dame will play to see who gets the right to play Bama. Okay. Bet. All right. And I'll get to the comments here in a second, guys. All right. And I will make it bigger because I doubt you guys can see what I'm showing right here. So I will make it bigger. All right, so we also got Texas Tech versus Montana State on Friday. Has anybody watched Montana State play this year and can speak to what they've done so far? All right, so let's see. On Friday, Michigan State will play against Davidson. So Davidson, who just lost earlier today, guys, and so they'll end up playing against Michigan State. That will be interesting right there. All right, so we've got Duke here on the West region, okay, and of course Duke is the 2 seed. Ooh, Cal State, Fullerton, okay. All right. Give me 1 second here, guys. Go ahead and catch up on the comments that you guys have right now. Let's see. Alan says, what do you think about Will Wade being fired from LSU? And so, yeah, I did see that earlier. And so, I mean, for Will Wade there, obviously expectations were not met there. And so I did see that coming. Along with that, there was another firing that did take place there. But, yeah, that one, I think I saw that one coming, honestly. Okay, so let me update this. All right. I will make this bigger in a second. So are you guys seeing any matchups right now that you're like, all right, I can see the upset happening right now based upon this bracket here in the West region? All right. All right, so who did they have? Texas Tech. All right, 1 second. All right, let's see. Braden says UCLA got hot last year and went to the Final Four. And so, yes, they did. Yes, they did. And of course, I'm going to make this bigger in a second, guys. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped this one. Let's see. Mike says, like pick IU, even if they were fourth. And so, okay, bet. Let's see. Braden says Memphis versus Boise State. That's going to be a good game. And so, let's see. Philip says New Mexico State. Is that Latino Richard? And so, for New Mexico State, is that him? And so apologize about that, guys, real quick. And so, all right. So, the bracket thing went by so fast while I was typing, guys. And so, who did they have Texas Tech going against, guys? Has anybody seen what Texas Tech was going against? All right, let's see what you guys are saying here. Philip said, did you say Notre Dame? Did not say Notre Dame on my end there. Braden says Davidson versus Michigan State. I did see that matchup. That was one of the first ones that did catch my attention right there, seeing those two teams. Honestly, that's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one right there between those two teams there. And so I'll be interested to see if Davidson can redeem themselves after that upset that they had earlier today. Braden says that he hopes Davidson wins. Braden says Davidson versus Duke will be a fun matchup. And so we've got 80s here. 80 says, get your money ready. 80s, I'm not sure if you were here when I mentioned it earlier, but I did go ahead and set up the bracket thing. So make sure that you check in the description for the link there along with the password. I think you'll love the password for that one. Let's see. Mike says, come on, Syracuse. Mike still holding out hope for Syracuse. That's crazy. That is crazy. Let's see. Braden says Vermont versus Arkansas and Davidson versus Michigan State could be upsets. And so, has anybody seen Vermont play a lot this regular season? I have not watched much of Vermont there. So, has anybody got to actually watch them throughout the regular season? And so, Craig, what's good? What's good? You say Rutgers belong? I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. And so, let's see. Let's see. Alan says, hope Duke doesn't lose in the first round like they did a few years ago. And so, it would be so sad for Coach K if that happened that way, honestly. It would be so sad. Let's see. Craig says the chat isn't moving. And so, you see those Bryant Bulldogs there? All right, let's see. South. All right, 1 second here, guys. All right, so Seton Hall, they went 21 and 10 this year. Interested to see who they're going to play against. But yes, the chat's still not moving, guys. Let me know if the chat's still not moving. Craig says, let's go. Ooh, okay, so they have TCU versus Seton Hall. Okay. What do you guys think about that matchup? Ooh, UAB versus Houston. Good old UAB. Ooh, Chattanooga versus the Fighting Illini here. Interesting. Okay, bet. 80 says Baker throws INTs. Gotta love the creativity there. Yeah, but which matchup do you guys like best out of the South region here? Let's see. Braden says UAB versus Houston and Illinois versus Chattanooga could be upsets. And so, ooh, Colorado State versus Michigan. Keep your eyes out for Michigan. Yeah, I agree. Strength of the schedule, though, for Michigan, though, that definitely had to weigh some weight in that decision, despite being 17-14 on the year. And Tennessee, I mean, talk about a team that caught fire there in that tournament. They had some big wins there along the way. And so let's see, who are they playing? Longwood. And so you guys mentioned, a lot of you said that this was going to be your Cinderella team right here. All right, let's see Friday. Oh boy, my Buckeyes, who are they going to put us against here? Who are they going to put us against? Don't do us wrong. All right, so as a 7 seed, they gave us Loyola Chicago. They're trying to put us out in the first round. They're trying to put us out in the first round. Damn it. Oh, man. They're trying to put us out in the first round here for my Buckeyes, guys. I'm already concerned. I'm going to hit the panic button. All right, so Villanova's going to play Delaware. Yeah, guys, I can't help but be highly concerned for my Buckeyes on this one, man. They need me out there. They need me. All right. Houston, UAB. All right, and then Illinois. Oh boy. So that's the path that lies in front of my Buckeyes there. And whoo, man. We are a flip of a coin. 1 second you'll get our best, the next one you'll get our worst. Braden says Michigan made it in. And so, yeah, for them, it all came down to strength of schedule, honestly, for them. Like, there's no other way to put it. It came down to strength of schedule for them. Old man says, JB, we got great news for our Patriots. D-Mac has returned on a 1 year, $9 million. So, oh, yes. That is great news right there. Appreciate that, old man. I'll take great news like that every day of the week. Yes. Philip says the Big Ten well represented. Yes, we are. Now, a lot of those matchups, though, I mean, may not be absolute favorable for a lot of our teams, though. I'm hoping that we can at least get a good amount to make it past round 2, or make it to round 2, I should say. Braden says your Buckeyes play Loyola of Chicago. You need to stream it. And so, oh, you already know. You already know. You already know. You already know. Let's see, 80 says. As the old man says, then they're really trying to screw us. Dang, it's going to be a battle. Hopefully, Ohio State step up. It is going to be one heck of a battle, and we can't play like we played inside the tournament or even the last 2 weeks. We've got to play like we played earlier in the season, honestly, if we're going to have a chance to win that one. Brandon says so many upsets could happen in that section. Yeah, it really could. It really could. I happened to miss one of the games, though. Who did they have Texas Tech playing? I forgot who they had Texas Tech matching up against. So if somebody can let me know here in the chat section, who did they have Texas Tech matched up against in the West region earlier? But yeah, a lot of potential upsets there in the making. But yeah, good amount of Big Ten teams. I like it though. I like a good amount of Big Ten teams up there. But I mean, Rutgers, I'm happy to see that they're getting an opportunity out there. Michigan State versus Davidson. It's gonna be a close one right there. Trying to see which Big Ten team do you think has to eat the best week 1 matchup? That's the question I'll pose out there right now. Which Big Ten team has the best matchup in round 1, I should say? But yes, Braden just said so many upsets can happen, guys. So many upsets can take place. Let's see. Braden says that Iowa could, honestly. And so we may have to bank on Iowa, like seriously. We have to put a lot of faith in them. As for Illinois, it's all about them getting the right matchups and stuff. They could really make some noise with the right matchup. I feel like the Fighting Illini can. Let's see. Alan says Zags versus Uconn, the Sweet 16. I got Duke versus Michigan State. Be Zags versus Duke in the Elite 8. And so I just tell you what, though, I'm going to be highly upset, though, if Duke gets put out before the Sweet 16 here. I'm going to be a little upset for them because Coach K deserves better than that for his final season out there. So Duke owes him that much. All right, so Alice says Texas Tech versus Montana State. Okay, appreciate that. Yeah, appreciate that. So that was Montana State. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, but yeah, looking at these matchups here, let's see if I can make this bigger here. And so, all right, so even with it being that big, can you guys see the matchups well? Or I know I got the comment right there blocking me, but let me know if you guys can see the matchups there. But yeah, somebody let me know here if you guys can actually see that there. I hope you guys can see the actual matchups there as I am filling it in as it goes on. But yeah, some pretty good matchups there. I mean, UAB versus Houston. I mean, I'll be interested to see, based upon how the bracket's set up there, I would be very intrigued to see if UAB can try to make some noise on that side of the bracket there. I would be. Let's see. Peter says, it's a bit blurry, but I appreciate you. And so, all right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And so let me see if it makes a difference if I – no, that makes it smaller. That's not going to work. So, but yeah, appreciate that there. And I'll see if I can continue to get this a little bit more clear for you guys. Let's see. All right, here we go, the Midwest region, guys. And so this is where we're going to see the Kansas Jayhawks here. And so Kansas versus Texas Southern or Texas A&M CC here. So, the Aztecs, a team I'm certainly going to be keeping my eyes out for here. Okay. Okay, San Diego State versus Creighton. Ooh, two teams that I normally am very high on when I'm filling out my bracket. I usually give those two teams the benefit of the doubt, but this time they put them against each other. That's gonna be one heck of a matchup. All right, so we're gonna have Iowa here. They're a 5 seed. I called it earlier. I said they're a 5 seed, and they're gonna go against Richmond. Great opportunity here for the Hawkeyes, honestly, to go out there against Richmond here and get that dub and try to get on a bit of a streak here for the Big Ten. So you got to like their matchup, but let's see what else will be below them. Ooh, Providence. All right, so let's see who Providence is going to get to play against here. Ooh, South Dakota State. All right, so looking at the matchups here. All right, so we've got LSU here at the top of this one. And who will they face? And again, that's a record of 22-11 for them. And they'll go against Iowa State. So the Cyclones here. Interesting. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of potential for upsets across the board, guys. A lot of potential for upsets. All right, next is Wisconsin. I mean, I'm loving seeing all these Big Ten teams up there, guys. All right, so Wisconsin, a 3 seed here. Let's see their matchup here. Colgate. All right. So the Raiders, guys. So that's another team that I've heard some people say might be a Cinderella team. Do you guys still think that matched up against Wisconsin? All right, so we got the USC Trojans here at 7. Let's see what they're going to face off against. Ooh, they're going to be playing against Miami. That's interesting. And so Miami just fell short against Duke, in which they would have, if they had beaten Duke, they would have went on to the championship match up there in the tournament. So they fell just shy against Duke. And so I'll be really watching to see what they do. I personally like Miami in that matchup. All right, so we've got Auburn, a team that you guys know I've been pretty fond of this year, and they've been kind of not living up to expectations as of late. Jacksonville State. All right, so yeah, looking at the brackets here, guys, and so what do you guys think about these matchups here? I mean, for me, what really stands out here is I do like now this round, this region right here. I do like it for the Big Ten in terms of Wisconsin's ability here, where they're at right now. Obviously, them, Iowa, and stuff like that. I like the pass for those two teams there. Obviously, Kansas is right there, so that's a team that you certainly got to look out for on Iowa side of the bracket there for sure. But I like the matchups for some of these teams. All right, let's see. All right, where am I at right now in the chat section? All right, so Mike says my team Ohio State's now 80s, and so hey, we got Mike on board here. That's what's up. That's what's up. Let's see. Braden says the region that Arizona is in is going to be crazy, and so yes. Let's see. Philip says can't see on the tablet, too small and blurry, but that's okay. And so yeah, apologize about that right there. I could try to make it bigger and see if that helps any. All right. Yeah, let me know if this works any better, guys. Let me know if you can see it any better here. I know you can't see all the teams up there at once, but let me know if you guys can at least see what's written out there. Pretty okay with that. I made it bigger. Mike says Bills were signed. McKenzie, not sure how. And so Mike says Ertz Cardinals 3 years. Braden says Iowa plays Richmond. So I know you're happy about that matchup right there for your Hawkeyes there. And so, and just looking at the path there, I mean, whether it's Providence or South Dakota State there, I like the first two matchups here for Iowa in that scenario, honestly, or potentially the first two matchups. Braden says you were right, JB. And so, yeah, I did call Iowa being the 5 seed there. Braden says a lot of Midwest teams in this section. Yeah, a lot of them. Let's see. Adam says Ohio State versus Villanova, Tennessee versus Michigan, Illinois versus Houston versus TCU. Houston versus TCU, and got Arizona. And so, okay, bet. But I appreciate putting Ohio State up there. I really do. My confidence in my team right now is about as shaky as it's been all year long. Braden says he thinks Wisconsin wins. So he's got Wisconsin winning. Okay. Let's see. Philip says 8 Big Ten teams so far. And so, yes, we're well represented out there, and I'm happy for that, guys. I am excited about that. So with all those teams in there, we've got to do something. We've got to send multiple teams out there. Like, we've got to. But 8 Big Ten teams so far. Braden says, I don't think Auburn makes it very far. They've been struggling lately. And so it all's going to come down to getting matched. But I think you're right. I give them, well, I won't show my hand yet in terms of how far I've got Auburn going here, as I still got to think about this one. But yeah, they're playing. They picked the worst time to start playing their worst basketball of the year. So Braden says, I won Iowa versus Kansas matchup in the Sweet 16. And so, hey, he wants Kansas. You know, Kansas has been known to get upset, in the tournament. So, hey, you played them in the Sweet 16? You never know. Anything can happen. Braden says it's better now. Bet. All right, so bet. So, yeah, let me go ahead and – all right, so that was the Midwest. All right, so we still got one more to fill out here. All right, so it would be pretty nerve-wracking for a team that hasn't heard their name called just yet, especially if you're a team that was on the bubble. And so there we go. Now let's see. So here we go. That Eastern bracket, guys. We've got Baylor up there at 1. Let's see what they're going to be facing here. And that's going to be played Thursday. Ooh, Norfolk State. So I know the Spartans, they're going to be excited for that matchup there in Fort Worth, Texas. North Carolina gets in as the 8th seed. Okay. I was thinking they would be 9, but okay. Ooh, Marquette. All right. So Marquette versus North Carolina. What are you guys thinking about that matchup? Who do you guys have in that one? St. Mary's here is a 5 seed. And so the winner of Wyoming and Indiana. All right, so it won't show all of that, but all right. So, yeah, the winner of Wyoming and Indiana, guys. Man, those Big Ten teams, they showed up today. Let's see. Baylor, let's see. Braden says he does not agree with Baylor being the number 1 seed in that one. And so, yeah, I mean, hey, that raises the question. Whoever wins out of, North Carolina and Marquette, if you end up playing Baylor, I mean, could it be an upset there? All right, so we've got UCLA, one of those teams that last year got hot in the tournament, and they're going to be going against Akron here. All right, let's see. So Texas, and so earlier we were talking about Texas being one of the teams that might potentially get upset early in the bracket. Went on the other stream that I had there earlier. So let's see what they're playing against. Ooh, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech. And so, yeah, they won the ACC tournament, guys, and so they got hot at the right time. And so you have a hot team versus a team that some of us have on upset alert. And then there you go. Purdue gets in there. So that's a 9th team right there, and they're going to get in as a 3 seed. So despite losing today, they're going to be a 3 seed. Let's see who they're going to play against here. But 9 Big Ten teams, guys. Wow. And they're going to go against Yale. So I like that matchup right there for Purdue. I think just pure size right there for Purdue, that gets it alone. And so, but man, I'm liking how this East region is looking. All right, so we've got Murray State. Erasers here. Another team that I usually favor in these brackets. And they went 30-2 throughout the regular season, went 30-2. So this is a team that knows how to bring it on a nightly basis. And they're going to go against San Francisco. And so, first appearance since 1998. Like, dang. I know they're going to be fired up there. Everybody's traveling for this game. I guarantee it. Wow. That's going to be a nice matchup to watch. I'm not going to lie. That's going to be a nice matchup to watch. All right, here we go. Kentucky. You guys can't forget about Kentucky. And let's see who Kentucky's going to be playing against, guys, and then we'll be able to do a deep dive into the tournament bracket. All right, they're going against St. Peter's. And so, all right, guys. So that is our East region bracket right there. So let's go ahead and take a deep dive here into these matchups here. So Baylor, Norfolk State. I like Baylor in that matchup there. North Carolina and Marquette. I mean, it could go either way. I feel it could go either way in that matchup. St. Mary's versus either Wyoming or Indiana. Going to be rooting for Indiana to win that matchup between the two of them. UCLA, Akron. Let me go ahead and see what you guys have said so far about this, though. Let's see. Allen says, I think a 1 seed won't make it because every year one of the 4 1 seeds always fail to make it past the Sweet 16 or Elite 8. And so, yes, that has really been a theme as of late. But you look at the conference with multiple bids, and my goodness, we talked about this earlier. What was the best conference there? Well, the committee thinks the Big Ten is the best conference there, as they had 9, which is 3 more next than the highest bid there. And so, wow. Looking at the first 4 teams out, you've got Dayton, Oklahoma, SMU, and Texas A&M. Again, A&M lost to Tennessee earlier, so that ended up costing them a bid there at the tournament. But wow, guys, wow. Let's see. Braden says he's got North Carolina winning that one. Old man says we've got some great games. And so, yes, we have some great games here. And you look at the last 4 teams that got in. I will speak to Indiana and Rutgers here. I mean, those 2 teams especially, they benefited from being in the Big Ten strength of schedule. That came in big right there. And then you look at, obviously, Oklahoma, in terms of first four out, look at their record, 18-14. They left a lot on the table this year. You see Wyoming got in there. Texas A&M, they had a chance in that tournament to earn their spot. That didn't work. Dayton Flyers, not this year. How do you guys feel about that? The last four in and the last four out. Did they get it right? Braden says, I think Indiana could go deep in the tournament. And so Braden says not only will they beat Wyoming, but they'll go deep into the tournament here. Braden says Virginia Tech beat Texas. And so I'm right there with you. I like Virginia Tech right now heating up at this moment here. And so I can see Virginia Tech doing it. I can see them doing it. Philip says, I hope you're right, Braden. Let's see. Philip says, go IU and Purdue. And so that's what Phillips got there. So IU and Purdue. Let's see. Old man says, JB, I got 900 on the Hokies. And so old man says he's going to take the Hokies all the way to the Final Four. That's probably going to be his Cinderella team right there, the Hokies this year. And so they've been doing them good so far. We'll see if that luck continues. That is for sure. Braden says Murray State could play Kentucky in the round of 32. And so let's see. Mike says he likes Iowa. So Mike's he likes Iowa so far in this one. Okay, bet. Let's see. And so Congress, thank you so much for coming through. And you say both Indiana and Wyoming are underrated. And so you know what? That is a factor. That is a fact right there. I mean, obviously, me being a Big Ten guy right there, I pay more attention to a team like Indiana, but I have kept my eyes out for Wyoming as well. They had a tremendous season there. And so those two squaring off, that's going to be a good one to watch. I mean, that's going to be a good one to watch right there. I think Indiana wins that matchup right there and would not be surprised if they give St. Mary's a deep run in that matchup, So I'll go ahead and go as far as that as well. Let's see. Old man says Hokies and Ohio State. And so, all right, so he's got Virginia Tech and the Buckeyes there. I would not suggest putting any money on Ohio State. This coming from an Ohio State fan, would not suggest it at all. Best advice I can give there. But Virginia Tech's done well by you so far, so we'll see how far they can take you. Allen says Baylor versus UNC, UCLA versus Virginia Tech, Murray State versus Kentucky. And so, yes, and just a reminder, guys, make sure if you haven't already, now that we know the matchups here, and I'll go ahead and just showcase, the different matchups here, starting with the first few ones in case somebody joined late here. And so, all right, so here we go. So, yeah, in this region here where we had Gonzaga as the 1 seed here, obviously Gonzaga versus Georgia State there. We expect Gonzaga, for the most part, to go ahead and take care of business there. But, if Georgia State were to win that one, I would not be mad at all. Boise State versus Memphis, Uconn, New Mexico State there. Arkansas versus Vermont. That's going to be an interesting one right there. Keep your eye out for Vermont. This one right here might be a game that goes down to the wire, I think, in that contest right there. Whoever takes the last shot is probably going to win that matchup right there between those two teams. But certainly Boise State, Memphis, that's going to be a good one as well. And then let's see, Bama versus Rutgers, Notre Dame. And so, okay, so I did say Notre Dame for this one. So, yeah, who do you guys like out of Rutgers and Notre Dame? Who do you think is going to win that matchup there between those two teams? Let me know that as well. But Texas Tech versus Montana State, I got Tech winning that one. Michigan State versus Davidson. I mean, that's going to be a tough one right there. I'll probably end up going the route of Davidson, honestly. But that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. I've seen these guys have some disappointing losses as of late, so I don't know. And then Duke, I expect Duke to at least get past round one. You got to get past round one for Coach K. And so kind of says, depends on which Ohio State shows up, LOL. Yeah, if you like taking risks, there's no greater risk in this tournament probably than Ohio State. You flip a coin, that's what's going to happen. They're either going to go out there and they're going to look like they know how to play basketball, or they're going to go out there and they're going to look disappointed. I mean, they only win the games that I stream. I mean, it seems to be the case. Of their last 7 matchups, they've won all the games that I've streamed, and the ones that I haven't streamed for them, well, it has been bad. So I guess you guys might want to link up with me about which games I'm going to be streaming. That might help. Let's see. Braden says, "Sorry, JB. I hope Loyola beats your Buckeyes." I'm sure Azure Shack is hoping the same thing there, because he loves the whole state of Illinois basketball there. But dang, Braden, it's like that. Gee. Braden says, "Go Davidson." Let's see. Philip says Notre Dame. So he's got Notre Dame in that one. Okay, bet. But yeah, looking at this one, I mean, Michigan State, Davidson, that's going to be a good one there. I'm going to be rooting for Davidson, but if Michigan State wins that one, I won't be upset for the sake of the Big Ten, but I'm going to be rooting probably Davidson in that one. All right, so let's go ahead and move over here. All right, and on this side of the bracket here, Arizona versus, would it be Bryant or would it be Wright State? That is the question there. And so, yeah, I'll be rooting for Bryant to win that one, but it doesn't matter either way. Arizona's going to take care of business regardless, I feel like. Seton Hall versus TCU. That's going to be a good matchup there. I'm going to be going with Seton Hall on this one, but TCU could very well do it, but I think Seton Hall barely does it. Houston, UAB. And so I'm going to be rooting for UAB, but I think Houston wins that. But I'll be rooting UAB in that one. And so Illinois, Chattanooga. Illinois should win that one. But yeah, and so a lot of key matchups, guys. A lot of key matchups. Let's see. Alan says, "I hope UNC upsets Baylor. I think it'd be UNC versus Kentucky." Hey, I would love that matchup there for the final spot in the Final Four. But if Kentucky live by the 3, they die by the 3. What happened versus Tennessee? And so that's what happens. I mean, when you get hot down there, you get hot, and when you don't, you don't. Braden says that Bryant going from the first 4 to the Final 4. If that happens, guys, we got to make sure that we go ahead and give Braden props here if that were to happen, guys. That would be insane. Let's see. Braden says, "Where's Baker College?" And so, well, Braden, I mean, Baker College, they didn't get the invite. They didn't get the invite. I know some of us may be heartbroken, but they did not get the invite. Oh, man, but I really don't like this matchup for Ohio State at all. I really don't like it at all. I mean, wow. Because, I mean, either way you slice it, even if we somehow get past them in round 1, and then let's say we end up with a date with Villanova. I mean, these are tough all the way. Tough all the way. Let's see. Mike says, "Well, I got to root Chattanooga." And so you can go Chattanooga there. You can, Mike. But, I mean, I want to see Illinois going a little bit of a deep run here in college hoops. I'm sure Azure Shack's going to be rooting for his fighting Illini there in that matchup. Let's see. Mike says, "Because my favorite Tennessee Chattanooga, T.O. went there." Good old T.O. Wonder if we'll see him in the stands at all. And then what do you guys think about Colorado State versus Michigan? That matchup right there. I mean, I think Michigan could do it. Michigan could do it. They could go down to Colorado State and they could get that W. But yeah, guys, that is that round's matchup right there. And so let's take a look at this bracket here. All right, so Kansas versus Texas Southern, or it was Texas A&M, like CC or something like that. And then there was San Diego State versus Creighton. 2 teams that I love picking, like between the two. If they wasn't playing each other, I probably would pick them. But obviously, I got to choose one in this one. What do you guys think, San Diego State or Creighton? What do you guys think about that one? Braden says, "Sorry about Syracuse not making it in, Mike." Mike was holding his breath there. He was holding for a miracle, guys. He was holding for a miracle there. That did not turn out to be the case, guys. Was not the case. All right, let's see. And then you have this USC Miami game. That's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out between them two. Colgate's a very interesting team, but I like Wisconsin enough to where I still have Wisconsin winning that one. LSU, Iowa State. Let's see. Fernando, what's good? What's good? You say go San Diego State in the Mountain West. Appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate you. And so let's see. Congress says San Diego, but damn, it's going to be a close one. I think it is going to be a close one there. You've got San Diego. I think it's just so close. It's just so close. I mean, if I had to project the game going to overtime, I probably would go San Diego State versus Creighton going to OT and stuff like that. Maybe even double OT. It's going to be so close, but it's going to be so tough, guys. It's going to be so tough. I might have to flip a coin on that one, and I flip a coin. If it lands on heads, San Diego State. If it lands on tails, Creighton. But it's going to be a close one. Let's see. And Mike says, thanks. Shake my head. He says, how are they going to do Syracuse like that? Syracuse did it to themselves, Mike. They did it to themselves. I mean, maybe if they kept their hands to themselves, maybe they would have had enough to beat Duke. Who knows? But absolutely. Let's see. Old man says, JB, I'm still pissed. They're really trying to screw Ohio State, but at least they gave the Hokies an easy game. And so, yeah, when I saw that matchup, they basically want to say, okay, let's put Ohio State out in the first round. What's the best team to do that? And so, man, I'm really nervous about my Ohio State Buckeyes here. I mean, really nervous here. It's the fan in me that's going to have to choose them anyways in that matchup there. But, man, man, what a tough path there for the Buckeyes there. But honestly, our inconsistencies cost us a lot towards the end of the season for the Buckeyes. Mike says, do SU dirty. Hashtag do SU dirty. Alan says, LOL, I'm still here. People talking about 2015 so-called undefeated that's right, Kentucky team are still here to shot by Duke in 1992, LOL. And so, yes. But you know what? In honor of Coach K, how far do you guys have Duke going in the bracket? Let me go ahead and highlight the path real quick for Duke. Let me go ahead and pull these guys up. So, yeah, for Duke, forget which. All right, so for Duke, definitely got them winning round one here. And so if they win round one, they'll get themselves a nice date between either Michigan State or Davidson. So I could see them winning against either of those two teams, especially if it's Michigan State there. Davidson doesn't matter. So I got them getting past that round as well. Now we get to the Sweet 16 here. And so I could honestly see Duke getting pretty far here, honestly. Like the path, I love the path that Duke has in front of them there. Like it's a favorable path for them. And so, but you guys let me know. I think Elite Eight might be at the spot where you probably start to have some concerns there, because I've seen Duke in some high intensity games that they probably needed to win, in which they lost to Virginia Tech. They lost to North Carolina in the last matchup for Coach K, in which that's a game that I'm pretty sure those guys really wanted for him. And so I think Elite Eight at best, Final Four is probably what we're looking at for Duke. But definitely got them in Sweet 16, definitely. Let's see. Mike says, JB, where do you think, who do you think is going to win, but who everyone rooting for? In terms of who's going to win it all, the team that's going to win it all is going to be, let me relook at these brackets all over again here. I love Gonzaga's path to the Final Four. I do love their path to the Final Four. Let's see. Arizona's path is going to be as well. I'm just looking through to make sure really quickly that I like the path here in front of these teams. Kansas always gets upset at some point here, and I can see Iowa being a team that would upset potentially Kansas there early, so it won't be Kansas for me. I'm going to go ahead and say right now I'm leaning towards Arizona, guys. I'm leaning towards Arizona. And so, but it's close though. But I'm going to lean towards Arizona here. I feel like Gonzaga, I feel confident in them getting to the Final Four and stuff like that, but I feel confident about Arizona being in the championship game this year, and we'll see from there. But I've got Arizona. Let's see. Alan says, I got them in the Elite Eight or the Final Four. And so, okay. So about the same as me. Okay. Let's see. Congas says that Sweet 16 for sure with Duke. After that, this year's going to be brutal. I say Elite 8. I think Elite 8 potentially happens in terms of the upset. But if they somehow get the lucky bounce in that one, then, yeah, I think Final Four is about as far as they go. If they get past that Elite 8 right there, that's about it. Let's see. Braden says, unless Duke gets upset like they did against Mercer back in 2014. Yo, Braden, don't do that to them. Don't do that to them. Don't do that to Coach K on this last year. If I'm Coach K and we got put out in the first round, I'm coming back again because I refuse to get it put out like that. So I would not do that if I was him. Would not do it. But that would be absolutely insane, guys. That would be insane. Who are some of your dark horses that you guys have in this tournament, though? But now that we've seen the brackets here, who are some teams that could really be that dark horse? I'm not going to say Cinderella team, but I'm going to say a dark horse. So someone that's probably between a 3 and a 6 or a 7. I'll say 3 and 8 that can definitely, between a 3 or an 8 seed, that can really go in there and do some damage. We've all got those teams that could be a Cinderella type team, but yeah, definitely let me know your dark horse in this one. I would have to say my personal one would be, I know we've talked about Iowa here, but if the Fighting Illini can really get going here, I mean, I just love the post play that they have there. I love the way that the team is set up there. So the Fighting Illini, they can get out and get hot. They could really make some noise here. So I'll take that route. Let's see. All right, Braden says he thinks that Indiana makes it to the round of 32, guys. So he's got Indiana getting to the round of 32. I like it. And guys, make sure that you guys don't forget, I've got the link in the description there. If you guys want to be a part of the JB Nation bracket here for the ESPN Pick'em Challenge, and just go ahead, you can make up to 7 brackets and stuff, so you'll have some room for leeway there. So make sure you guys go ahead, and I got in the description the link for it along with the password that you'll need in order to join, and it's up for anybody. Let's see. William, what's good? What's good with you? And you say no disrespect, but every year they give the Zags the easiest road. But out of the top 8 schools, their strength of schedule sucks. Their conference is weak. Williams, you said something that I did think about. And so every time I'm filling out my bracket, it feels like that way, honestly. That's why I say I have no doubt that they'll make it to the Final Four. It's because of the path that lies in front of them. I mean, they started off with Georgia State right here. Georgia State. I mean, no offense, Georgia State right there. I mean, if Georgia State ends up going on a run, great. But in terms of just, like easiest paths on paper, you look at that for them, they'll win that matchup. Whether it's Boise State, Memphis, you can feel confident in that matchup as well. And then you go on beyond that. I mean, Vermont might upset Arkansas. That's just a possibility. That might just happen. So the path for them could be very favorable once again. And so you bring up a good point there, William. You absolutely do right there. And so we've seen it a couple years there. But one thing we've also seen a lot is that Gonzaga, despite the schedule being what it is, they just can't seem to get a championship despite the easy path year in and year out. We'll see if this year is different. But I would not be surprised to see what I said earlier. I got Arizona winning the chip here. Would not be surprised if Gonzaga ends up being the team they end up facing potentially in that championship matchup there, just because mostly of the path that they have in front of them. But that is a great observation. Let's see. Old man says, Dixon, you're right. And so old man agrees. He agrees. Braden says Murray State, Iowa, UCLA, and Texas Tech. So those are his dark horses right there. Murray State, Iowa, UCLA, and Texas Tech. We know what UCLA did last year. I'll be really looking to see if they can get hot like they did last year in the tournament. But that's why, guys, I want to make sure that you guys have that you guys are a part of the bracket there. I'm not sure who all signed up yet and stuff like that. But again, if you do have interest there, do make sure you are signed up so that way we can, check these brackets later on when I do a stream for that and see how everybody did so far with their bracket. You can make up to 7 brackets, guys. So I've got the link in the description. Let's see. Alan says, I think Uconn upsets the Zags. So he's got Uconn with the upset there. And so if they do face each other, that would certainly be a potential game where I guess you could say where that first upset could potentially happen right there. That could certainly happen right there. Let's see, Conga says, bro, Memphis has the same issue as Ohio State. They could fire and make a deep run or flame out in the first round. I can see Memphis winning versus Gonzaga. So Memphis, a team right there. And so, and yeah, for my Buckeyes, guys, my best suggestion is if you don't see me set up a stream for the Buckeyes there, probably don't pick them. I mean, lately that's been the case. Every game I stream for them, they win, but the games I don't, they just lose. And so that seems to be the thing that's been going on as of late. So, maybe that might help you out there. But for the Buckeyes, though, really tough path here for the Buckeyes. Really tough path. Loyola College, Chicago, they're a very great team, and a lot more consistent than we are. We just got to go out there and honestly have a good game. Go out there, hit some shots early, start feeling good about ourselves, build our confidence. We're going to do that. But yeah, great pointing out Memphis, though. Good old Memphis. Braden says, I can see that happening too. And so, absolutely, guys. But one thing that's for sure, there's a lot of great matchups. And I will say a lot of these play-in games, these are some good matchups as well. You've got Rutgers versus Notre Dame. That's one right there, that I'm going to be looking forward to seeing as well. Can Rutgers get past there? Or will the Fighting Irish do it? I mean, I would have to give the nod to the Fighting Irish in this one. But knowing me, I'll probably pull Rutgers there. But I can certainly see that going, Notre Dame's way. Wyoming versus Indiana, another one right there. Two teams that are definitely underrated from this past season there. And so I'll be watching that game to see who wins that one as well. And so, of course, me being a Big Ten guy, I'm going to be rooting Indiana in this one. But either way, it'll be a great contest. Either way. So we've got some great play-in games, guys. We really do. And then, obviously, Texas Southern versus Texas A&M CC. So, yeah, those are some of the matchups right there. But yeah, a lot of great matchups there. I'm really going to be watching the Big Ten personally, though, because I need to see these Big Ten teams not just get to the tournament. I feel like year in and year out, we see the Big Ten teams get to the tournament and stuff. You have teams like Purdue that do so good in the regular season, get in there, then all of a sudden they're going home earlier than expected. And then, you've got Illinois throughout the regular season, Wisconsin. I need someone to step up there in the Big Ten and really make some noise for us and make a deep run, guys. Like, I really need to see that happen this year. Honestly, we got 9 teams in there. It's about time that we show, like, okay, they were right to give, teams like Michigan the benefit of the doubt because of the strength of schedule, despite going 17-14, because our conference is as deep as they say. All right, let's see. Braden says, I think both Big Ten teams win the play-in games. And so, hey, that'll be a nice start right there. That would be a nice start right there. But I tell you what, it's going to be a very close one right there. Don't sleep on Wyoming, especially. Don't sleep on them. And so let's see, Conga says that he's mad about Wyoming and Indiana. He said both of these teams should be a higher seed. And so I honestly felt the same way there. Like, I really felt that both of those teams, they earned their merit to where they should have been higher for sure. But committee did not give them that benefit of the doubt for whatever reason that was. Braden says that he thinks Wisconsin or Iowa could make the Final Four. And so Wisconsin or Iowa. So we look at Wisconsin's path here, beating Colgate. Definitely could happen there. LSU, because I expect them to still, either them or Iowa State, I expect them to win that one as well. And then later on, whether it's USC, Miami, Auburn even. And so let's just assume in this scenario, Auburn, I still like Wisconsin in that matchup there versus Auburn right there, just because Auburn just has not been playing consistent lately. Of course, that potential is still there for Auburn, but how do you flip that switch right now? That is the question. And so I don't know if they can flip that switch again. So Wisconsin's got a path. They do have a path. I like their path. You mentioned Iowa, obviously starting off against Richmond. Love that matchup right there for Iowa. That should bode well for them there. And then, them versus Providence, I was still expecting them to win that one as well. And then Kansas. I mean, assuming that it's Kansas that you're facing, in the Sweet 16, that is certainly a matchup that you can go in there and you can get the upset. You've got the pieces to get the upset. If you go out there and play your best basketball, you've got the pieces. Kansas has been a team that has been put out early in the tournament a few too many times for my liking for that team, considering that they're usually the team that starts off as a 1 seed that gets upset. But that's going to be the matchup to watch right there in that bracket right there. Kansas versus Iowa, if both of those teams make it that far. And then let's not forget about Tennessee, guys. I know we haven't talked about Tennessee here. They did win the SEC. I know they're not exactly the most favorites amongst most of the people that watch SEC basketball there. If you're not a Tennessee fan, but Tennessee, I mean, they might be peaking right now at the right time. They might be, but then again, Longwood. I mean, this is a team where many of you guys said before that this might be your Cinderella team. So, who is our Cinderella team? Is it Longwood? Is it Chattanooga? Is it someone else? Who is our Cinderella team in this year's bracket? And so, I mean, heck, is it UAB? All right, I already read that one. Let's see. Old man says, more food news, JB. Jason McCourty should be healthy by May, and he wouldn't mind a reunion with the Patriots. All depends on his foot surgery and how he feels mentally. That is great news right there. That is great news. Keep it coming, old man. Keep it coming for my Patriots. Keep it coming. Appreciate that. Absolutely. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, 1 second here, guys. All right, so so just checking right now. So in about an hour, I should have access to actually go ahead and fill in these teams here. So I'll definitely be filling in my bracket, guys, for sure. All right, so Braden says either Chattanooga or Longwood for him is what he's thinking. And so, Chattanooga, looking at the path they have here, starting off against the Fighting Illini, that's going to be tough. But if you can get past the Fighting Illini there, I could see that potential route, guys. I could see that potential route there. But for me, UAB, I mean, between Chattanooga, I probably like UAB a little more in terms of just – obviously going against Houston, that's going to be tough. But that's a game where UAB could come up there and surprise them, And then if you surprise them there, I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe it's a matchup UAB versus Chattanooga. Wouldn't that be something? All right, let's see where we're at now. Let's see. Congress says, bro, I'm hot on UAB. Those kids balled out in the conference tourney. Go Blades. And so, hey, absolutely. I mean, as I mentioned before, I used to actually work there for 1 year after I graduated and with my master's. I started working there. It was the first job I had working in sports post my graduation. And so, definitely going to be rooting for those kids at UAB. That is for sure. And so I hope that they can make some noise right here. Someone's going to go on a run. Why not UAB? Why not? Why not UAB? And so, absolutely. But Longwood versus Tennessee. If Longwood was not playing Tennessee, I probably would go there. But just given how Tennessee's been playing basketball lately, I would have to think that Tennessee finds a way to win that matchup against Longwood. But I could be wrong. You never know. Let's see. Congress says also could see a 16 over the 1 seed this year. And so let's take a look again at our 116 seeds here. And so whether it's Bryant, Arizona's safe in my mind. They're a safe bet to get past round 1. Texas Southern versus Kansas. You guys like that one? If we had to say that the 1 seed most likely to lose, that's one. Let's look at the other one. Baylor versus Norfolk State. And so that could be another potential one if we're talking in terms of the most likely to lose. Gonzaga versus Georgia State. I don't see Georgia State beating Gonzaga. I just don't see that happening, guys. But they're probably the most susceptible of the 1 seeds there. But I wouldn't go that route there. I probably would go maybe. Would it be Baylor in your guys' opinion? Would Baylor be the team that's the 1 seed with the best chance to lose to a 16 seed in Norfolk State? Would that be it? Or would it be Kansas with either Texas Southern or Texas A&M CC? So I probably would have to say, I don't know. Like that's tough there because I like the matchups for the 1 seeds this time around. But if I had to pick someone, That's tough. Maybe it would probably be Baylor, probably. Let's see. Old man says more info on Devin contract. It's a $9 million for a year, but this 2022 cap hit should be no more than $4 million, $5 million at the most. And so good stuff there, old man. Good stuff. Appreciate that. Let's see. Braden says Norfolk State. All right. So Braden thinks that Baylor is the most acceptable 1 seed here to an upset. Of course, we're not saying that that's going to happen, but the most likely to happen of the 1 seeds in terms of someone taking an L if it were to happen. And so his money is on Baylor to take that L to Norfolk State. Let's see. Peter says, which 5 versus 12 will win? You say you like New Mexico State over Uconn. And so we mentioned Uconn earlier and stuff like that in terms of being a team that could potentially end up being a team to put out Gonzaga. But he says that they themselves can be put out by New Mexico State. And I've seen New Mexico State when they get hot in the tournament a few times. And so that's certainly that potential is right there. If I had to say if I had to say which one I got in terms of that happening, I would probably go to, let's see, my matchup for 5 versus 12. I wouldn't be surprised if UAB does it against Houston. I mean, the more I think about it, the more I'm liking UAB in that scenario. So I would not be surprised if UAB does it. Well, that's a great question. Certainly, UConn is susceptible to where New Mexico State could certainly pull that off. Braden says that he thinks Villanova should have been the 1 seed instead of Baylor. And so Villanova would have been a great choice there, but I had a feeling that they were going to go towards Baylor. I honestly had that feeling they were going to take that route for Baylor there. But yeah, that path right there, it's going to be an interesting one to watch there, guys. It's going to be a very interesting one to watch, especially if whoever wins out of Wyoming and Indiana ends up getting hot and they end up beating a team like St. Mary's. There's always that potential as well. But what about UCLA? What do you guys think about UCLA? Can UCLA go on a deep run this year? I feel like, you look at the path in front of them, Akron, then, could be St. Mary's, Wyoming, Indiana, whomever, that path to the Sweet 16. I'm liking that. They could be a team that can go out there and make some noise again this year. Mike says, thanks, JB, for a great tournament pick show. And so, yeah, appreciate you. Thank you guys so much here for coming out here and joining me here for this one. Of course, it's my first year of actually doing this right here for the tournament thing. So, yeah, I apologize about the bracket here being blurry and stuff like that. But, yeah, absolutely appreciate you guys. Let's see. Braden says he likes UCLA. And so, yeah, for me, it all comes down to UCLA having guys, obviously just a year ago, they got to experience what it was like to win in the tournament. They got that taste, they're the 4 seed here. And so you look at the bracket here. We are mentioning Indiana and stuff like that, but imagine if they're playing against UCLA. If UCLA can continue to play at a high level and they get hot, what do you know? Let's see. Old man says receiver Michael Gallup is re-signing with the Cowboys, a 5-year. Wow. So they opted to give Michael Gallup the money, 5 years, $62.5 million. Wow. And you said I did a great job for my first one. Hey, I appreciate that. Really do appreciate that. But man, they're investing in Michael Gallup here. Wow. Peter says, great show. Thanks for doing it. Yeah, thank you so much. Peter, for joining, guys. And so, yeah, absolutely make sure you guys go ahead, and if you haven't already, that you do go ahead in the description and that you do press the link there and join the JB Nation bracket show here. And so, therefore, once we have these brackets filled out and stuff like that, as the games continue to go on, we'll continue to look at the brackets and see how everybody's doing and see who does the best job about it, honestly. Braden says, I find it funny that we're talking about Loyola being a Cinderella team and then play your Buckeyes in the first round. And so they know what they were doing. They know exactly what they were doing when they set this up, not Braden. They know exactly what they were doing out there. This is – oh, man, I'm extremely nervous here for my Buckeyes. I got to be extremely realistic when I'm making my bracket, guys. And this is not good at all. But the Buckeyes have burned me too much over the last couple of years in terms of me giving them the benefit of the doubt and it's just not paying off, guys. Like, we are not playing our best basketball at all. We just got put out by Penn State in the tournament. Penn State put us out, and so that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. And so, Loyola, Chicago, they're going to want this game bad. They're going to be in there itching to, get that taste from last year out of their mouth in terms of getting put out. And so, man, this is going to be a tough one here. Going to be a tough one. And so let's see. Braden says, joined already. Thanks for doing this, JB. No, thank you, Braden. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. And so, Susanna, what's good with you? Thank you so much for coming through. You say, is this the women's bracket selection? This is the men's bracket selection here. And so, I filled in the bracket as they went through here. And so, just to recap, the matchups here. But, this is the men's side. But thank you so much for coming through. But, Arizona, the 1 seed here. Yeah, guys, I got Arizona. I like their path, to the championship there. I think that they're a team that once they get in the Final Four, you compare them with other teams that they, could face in the Final Four there. I got Arizona at least getting to the championship game, and I'll go ahead and say for now that they're going to win the championship game there. But there's a lot of things that can take place. I feel like of all the teams that I'm most confident in to not get upset, it would probably be Arizona, guys. Arizona would probably be that team. But there are certainly some teams to look out for in this bracket. I want to see how Michigan does against Colorado State. Can Michigan get that win there and see if they can get on the streak there in terms of a team that might be, rated a little bit lower there, 17-14, but still has that potential to do some damage here. Longwood's a good team, but they just have a terrible matchup there against Tennessee. And so I wonder if they would be able to come up with enough to beat a team like Tennessee. It's possible. It's doable. But will they be able to do it, though? That is the question. Tennessee just coming fresh off of a win in the the SEC tournament there. Winning in fashion, too. Winning in fashion. Let's see. Braden said, who's the 2 seed in the Arizona's region? He's forgotten. So, the 2 seed in that region is Villanova. So, Villanova is our 2 seed there, and they'll be facing Delaware in the first round. So, obviously, if my Buckeyes can somehow, let's just say for devil's advocate here, Buckeyes somehow get past Loyola, Chicago, they'll probably have a date with Villanova coming up, and that's not good at all for the Buckeyes. They cannot put together consecutive games in which they're consistent. Consistency is their biggest Achilles heel, and that's a huge Achilles heel right there to have, honestly. And then if that goes well, and then who knows, a date versus maybe Tennessee or something like that, the path for Ohio State is just too hard for them right here. And so I don't like this for the Buckeyes there. They're the team that I think coming away from this, you're probably feeling like, dang, like I really wish we would have had a stronger end to the season there for sure. But Villanova's got a shot, though. Villanova, I would love to see, if they ran into a team like Tennessee or something like that, that'd be a nice matchup to see as well. But they could do it. Let's see. Braden says that he could see Villanova making the Final Four. And so that would certainly be one heck of a task. Delaware, they should get that one there. And then, Ohio State, Loyola there. And so, I got them probably getting past the first 2 rounds there for Villanova. And then from there, we'll see how they match up against Tennessee there. Probably Tennessee. If Longwood can get hot, I would not be surprised. I'm telling you, you want a Cinderella team, Longwood would have been my Cinderella team there. But Tennessee is just a tough matchup. They're playing great basketball right now. So I would have to say UAB. Watch out for UAB versus Houston. If they can get that first win right there versus Houston, look out. They can at least get to about that Sweet 16 this year if they can get that first win. Let's see. Old man says they did everything they could to screw Ohio State. And, they got us good this year, old man. They got us good this year. They got us real good this year. There's no favorable scenario for Ohio State that I can think of in this matchup, guys. Like, this is coming from a Buckeyes fan, a diehard Buckeyes fan. There is no favorable matchup there for us. But the Big Ten is certainly well represented in this conference here. No doubt about that. Let's see. And then, does anybody give Georgia State a chance against Gonzaga here? We were talking about teams right here that's had the easy path, like some Gonzaga. I wish that life gave me the path that Gonzaga has every year in the tournament, guys, because Gonzaga, they end up getting the best matchups there. They're in a conference where you know they're going to run the tables and all like that for the most part. And so, I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong. They are good. They are very good. But the path that lies ahead of them, wow. Just wow. Looking at the path that's ahead of them. I mean, obviously, we talked about it earlier. Uconn is a team that certainly could provide that upset, assuming that they don't get upset themselves by New Mexico State there. How do you guys feel about Arkansas? We haven't talked too much about Arkansas here. I know I've said that I feel that Vermont is a team that could upset Arkansas here. I can see that upset taking place there. But how do you guys feel about Arkansas here? All right, let's see. Braden says, JB saying how good Loyola is and could be a Cinderella of the committee. Let's put them against JV's favorite team in the first round. And so they already know if they checked out any of my streams and stuff like that, like I got a lot of respect for those teams that come out of Chicago and stuff like that because they know how to ball. And so this is going to be one of those matches. We come in as the higher seed, but they come in as the hotter team. And so I'll take hotter team any day than being the higher seed. And so oh, man, especially as of late, we just have not been consistent at all. For every big win that we've had about 2 upsetting losses. And so, I mean, there's been some games where I don't know how to explain how the Buckeyes have just gone out there and lost to some of those games that they lost, especially during the regular season towards the end. Those are unexplainable, honestly, unexplainable losses. All right, so here's what Braden has to say. Braden says that Vermont could upset Arkansas, but Arkansas wins a close one. So he thinks Arkansas wins this one, but it's going to be close. And so this is one of those that really will be decided by 4 points or less. I'm thinking 4 points or less right here. Whether you've got Arkansas winning, whether you've got Vermont winning here, I could see Vermont pulling that upset there, but I could also see Arkansas winning as well. There's going to be many factors that obviously come into play there, but it's going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one right here. Arkansas's got to be ready for this matchup right here. This is going to be because Vermont's going to be ready. They're going to be ready. Believe that. They're going to be ready. What about Boise State versus Memphis? I know we said earlier about Memphis being a team that kind of struggles from the same things that Ohio State struggles from in terms of just consistency and stuff like that. You don't know what you're going to get with them. You really don't know what you're going to get. They can go out there and they can have a tremendous game, or they can go out there and look flat. And so them versus Boise State, I probably will lean towards Memphis there. I'll say first round there. They'll be pumped there. But, hey, it could go either way. Could go either way. All right, let's see. What are some other teams that we have not talked about as much? And so, all right, so a couple matches we really haven't talked about. I know we talked about Rutgers versus Notre Dame and stuff like that. It seems like we're leaning towards Notre Dame potentially in that matchup for the most part. But Alabama, I mean, how do we feel about Alabama right now, guys? Like, they're the 6th seed here. How do we feel about Bama? So we've got them right here. And also looking at, a team like Texas Tech versus Montana State. I expect Texas Tech to win that matchup against Montana State. So I feel pretty confident in Texas Tech's ability to win that matchup there. Obviously, Michigan State, Davidson, that one's almost coin toss right there. But I think Davidson could find a way to win that matchup right there. I think Davidson finds a way to win that matchup right there, sends Michigan State home a little early. A lot of these matchups for the Big Ten, I'm kind of like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. There's only a few matchups that I really like for the Big Ten. I like Wisconsin's path. And I like Iowa's path in terms of just purely just the path that they would have in this tournament. I like those 2 paths the most in this one for the Big Ten. Let's see. Braden says, see ya. Thanks for doing this, JB. Also, you're going to stream any of the first 4 games. And so I may end up streaming one. I got to check my schedule real quick there, but I should be able to stream one. And so I'll definitely have that set up there. And I'll go ahead and set up a couple streams here for, I'll probably see if I can get one of those in there. But if not, then you guys know that once we get to the 64 round of 64, I'll definitely have those streams up and running for sure, guys. But yeah, it is definitely great going on here. And so, but yeah, appreciate you for coming through, Braden. Absolutely. Looking forward to seeing how you set up your brackets and stuff, guys, because once we get to the point where we can actually set up our brackets, you best believe I'm going to go through here and pick my brackets, guys, for sure. For sure. Let's see. What's another matchup here that we haven't too much talked about? I feel like the matchup between, let me go ahead and put it up here. I'm really intrigued with the matchup between USC and Miami and all like that. I feel like Miami was playing great basketball as of late. They lost to Duke. We know Duke, being a 2 seed and stuff like that. But I'll be really intrigued to see how they do against USC. Because you talk about the path in front of them. If you end up winning against USC, and then if you can catch Auburn, and if Auburn's not playing at their best, and they're just going out there, looking like how they've looked as of late. If they're just going out there looking like how they looked out of late, that may be an upset potential right there for the Hurricanes to get them into a Sweet 16 or something like that. You just never know. You just never know. And if that happens, it's a potential right there for the Hurricanes, or USC, whoever wins that matchup right there. The potential is there. Let's see. Alan says, it's crazy. Kentucky gives Coach Kyle $86 million. Only one championship to show for it is crazy, though. $86 million. That's a lot of money right there. That's a lot of money to invest in the guy that brought you one championship. And so, but man, that is a lot of money, though. But honestly, what he brings in recruiting and stuff like that, I get that. But yeah, that's a lot of money there. That's a lot of money. You'd like to get more than one championship for that, honestly. No doubt about that. But appreciate you bringing that up, though, Alan. Appreciate you bringing that up. Let's see. We also haven't talked much about LSU versus Iowa State. So how do you guys feel about that matchup? LSU versus Iowa State. And so if I had to pick who's going to win that game right there, I mean, I probably would lean towards LSU in that matchup there, but I could see that one going anywhere. And so speaking of which, you can't have a stream without someone mentioning them. And so Black Medicine, what's good with you? What's good with you? He says roll damn tide. And so, yeah, so he's excited about Bama being in there. And we're going to see what Bama does here. Matter of fact, Bama's matchup here will be against either the winner of Rutgers or Notre Dame. So that is who their first round matchup will be against, either the winner of Rutgers or Notre Dame. So absolutely, guys, absolutely. But yeah, make sure you guys are signed up there. And if you're someone that's new to the channel, go ahead and make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well, guys, because this is it. March Madness, will officially be beginning soon, and this is great. This is great. And so let's see. Black Medicine says, hear the news about Brady. And so what news has taken place here? I've been streaming for at least the last couple hours here, but what has happened with Brady? Let me check and see. Sounds like I'm missing a lot of news so far right now during the stream here, but let's see. All right, so I see Zach Ertz and the Cardinals have agreed to a 3-year deal. Oh boy, let's see. But no, I have not seen the news. Oh, well, I see it now. So, wow. So Tom Brady unretiring. Wow. That is insane. Bruh. He don't know when to step away from the game. God, this is crazy. This is unreal. This is unreal. This is crazy, guys. This is crazy. Wow. Wow, guys. This is wild. This is insane. Just making an update here. Oh boy. So we've got Tom Brady coming back. This is insane, man. This is Just when you think that Tom steps away from it all, guys, just when you think we can move on here, Tom decides to come back. This is insane. This is insane, guys. Like, wow. So he's going to come back with the Buccaneers here. That is my reaction here. Sounds more disappointment than anything else. Oh, boy. This is, wow. Let's see. Alan McDowell says, after basketball season, who you got winning the national championship in football? And so I'm a Buckeyes fan, so I'm rooting Buckeyes all the way. I'm going to be rooting them all the way and stuff like that. But obviously, you already know with all the changes and stuff, the favorite's probably going to be Bama. You've got Bryce Young coming back and stuff like that. So I expect them to be the favorites, but I'm rooting Buckeyes all the way, all the way. Let's see. Like Madison says, you got to hurry up and make a video, show us on the stream. Yeah, I should go ahead and convert this video over to that, guys. I really should. I did go ahead and update the title, though, so I'm not sure if it's updated here on my end, but it should be updated there in terms of Brady retiring. But wow. Unretiring. So, wow. Mike says, doubt me, JB. I'll take my apology on air, JB. And so Mike did call it. He did call it. He said Brady was going to unretire and stuff like that. But if memory serves me right, did you have Brady going to Miami? It seems like he's staying put in Tampa, from what I understand. So it seems like he'll be staying put down there in Tampa. Brady just cannot stay retired and all like that. Just got to come back and bother us for another year, guys. Another year. We thought we were done. We thought we were past this. Not so. But the man himself decides to come back. Wow. Man. And so Mike says, yeah, he had Miami there. So I would have thought San Francisco would have been the most logical reason to come back, but this is wow. This is crazy, man. This is wow. Wow. Let's see. Black Medicine says he's Favre 2.0. I doubt the Buccaneers are going to say that Blaine Gabber's our starting quarterback now. We got to get rid of you. Sorry, like the Packers did when it's like Aaron Rodgers is our quarterback now. I got to move on. So absolutely. Let's see. Mike says he's still elite good. And so, oh yeah, he's still good. He still got it. But at some point you got to step away from the game. But you want to walk out on your own terms. That's what I want so much for Brady, for him to walk out on his own terms and stuff like that, not via injury, not via, his performance slipping or something like that. But I guess it makes sense why a guy like Chris Godwin decided to stay on that contract and stuff like that, because I wouldn't do it to play with Blaine Gabbert, but he doesn't have to. TB12 is back. TB12 is back, guys. Let's see. Allen says, Bama or Buckeyes. He doesn't see UGA repeating it. And so UGA lost a lot of talent on that defensive side of the ball. A lot of guys they did lose. Not to mention their running backs as well. Running backs was critical for them. And so it's one thing when you win a championship there, but they had a lot of guys to do it. And so I think you're right there, but we'll see what happens. But I agree with you there. Mike says, imagine to be on the team to cut Brady if I was Tampa. Boom. Right. Let's see. Allen says, what do you think about Wilson to Denver? So, Wilson going to Denver, that is great for the Broncos. That's exactly what they needed. They did not need to draft a young quarterback that may or may not pan out, especially with this year's draft class. No offense to those young men. Malik Willis, he has all the potential in the world. He's what I consider a prospect. But one thing I've seen over the years, prospects, they're just prospects. In a couple years, they become memes and stuff like that. Carson Wentz, he was a project when we came out. Although there was a little bit more confidence in him, he was a surefire, top 2 quarterback, but still, coming from a small school, didn't necessarily work out that great for him and stuff like that. And then, there's been other quarterbacks as well that's come out. Jimmy Garoppolo, he came out as a prospect. He's won some games in the NFL, but he's not that top-tier quarterback. And so Broncos getting a guy like Russell Wilson, 9-time Pro Bowl and stuff like that, still showing that he's got a lot of years left. Now, obviously last year, he didn't play his best. I feel like he didn't play his best last year, but he's going to be rejuvenated now. New system, and the Broncos did not have to give up anybody important. Didn't have to give up Williams in the backfield. Didn't have to give up Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, you gave up Norfolk, but oh well. That's someone you can afford to lose and stuff like that. Same on the defensive line. So it was a great move by the Broncos. Draft picks are just that, draft picks. Many teams select someone in the first round that ends up being a bust, ends up being average, ends up going to another team before they start performing. So for them to go ahead and get a quarterback there, that was huge for the Broncos. And they went from being, in my opinion, last place in the division to, I think, second best in the division right now behind Kansas City. I still get the Chiefs up there at 1, but the gap is very narrow between the two teams. We still got a lot of free agency left to be made here. We'll see what other moves they make, but that was a move that Denver needed to make, honestly, for the Broncos to have success there. So I like that move there for the Broncos there. I'm not too fond of the Broncos. I'll be honest about that. Not too fond of them, but that was the right move for them. And so they're going to be a force to be reckoned with for years to come. You get a quarterback like that, and you know the Broncos, they're going to work on that defense there. They already had a top 3 defense. Next year, they might be number 1 in the league. And so look out. Look out. AFC West, get your popcorn ready. They're going to be great. Mike says he's still elite, though. Favre was on fumes. And so, yeah, you're right about that. Favre was at that phase. But Favre showed that he still had a little bit left in the tank, though. He did. But the difference between Favre and Brady is that every year, Favre was just debating whether or not he was going to retire. He was mulling whether I should retire or not. That's a big difference right there. So I will say that. And then Aaron Rodgers was on the bench for quite some time as well. But, man, this is huge for Tampa, guys. This is huge for Tampa. Mike says probably saves Tampa money, a stunt. And so – it's all about the attention. That's what it is. I'm going to step away from the game, make everybody say all these nice things about me, and then I'm going to come back. And so, free agency hadn't even started yet. How dare you say you're going to retire, lie to us, and then free agency hadn't even started yet, because if you're Tom, you do a great job of recruiting. So you need guys to know that you're going to be back. So therefore, timing-wise, it makes sense to come back before the start of free agents. So free agents know, okay, we can come to Tampa because we got Tom and stuff like that, rather than come back at the end once everybody's already selected their destination and then end up, with the team that you got. But this just makes things a lot more interesting. So many teams that are already looking like they could be Super Bowl contenders and all like that next season. This is fun. This is fun. But Brady just came back, guys, and we still don't know which team is going to acquire a guy like Deshaun Watson. Will he end up in that same division? Will it be with the Saints? Imagine if Watson goes to the Saints, because from what I'm hearing, the Panthers and the Saints, they're both having conversations. I think the Panthers would be most aggressive, but if I'm Deshaun, send me to New Orleans. That defense is A1. This team has already showed that they can, beat Tampa with Brady without a quarterback, basically. So you put Watson on a team like the Saints, and I'm telling you, get him a couple weapons to throw the ball to. My goodness. I can see that scenario playing out there. Maybe a guy like Brandon Cooks would choose to join him in New Orleans. You never know. But man, that would be crazy if that happened there. Imagine that. Let's see. Alan says, what you see in the AFC West versus Kansas City this year, you see Cincy has that magic still like last year. And so in terms of Cincinnati, one thing that I do want to caution about a team like that, when you're a team, because I feel like they got hot at the right time. There were moments where Joe Burrow did not necessarily play his best game there and stuff like that. We saw it a couple years ago from the Baltimore Ravens where they had a streaky season. It's what I like to call a streaky season, where the team, everything just starts going right. Now, they have the right core down there in Cincinnati to where they should continue to be a playoff team. But in terms of making a deep run like we saw last year and all like that, that's going to be really tough, especially in the AFC and stuff like that. So in order for them to get that magic again, they're going to have to fix the offensive line. They're really going to have to. And then Baltimore's going to come back. They're going to be rejuvenated. Pittsburgh with a new quarterback. We'll see whoever ends up being quarterback for them. But they should still be better than Pittsburgh next year. But obviously between the Ravens and stuff like that, we'll see what happens with the Browns there. Obviously getting Amari Cooper, Baker, if Baker's fully healthy, what is he going to look like? I don't know. But if he can go out there and give them decent to good quarterback play, and then they can stay healthy, maybe the Browns are back in the conversation. Let's not forget, a year ago, we thought Cleveland was going to be that team that made a run to the Super Bowl this year. We really thought that until that didn't happen. So, but it's tough, though. When you have a magical run like that, you really want to finish there because you never want to be in a scenario where you're like, oh, well, maybe we'll get them next year. There's been many teams that we've seen get hot, have that one magical year. Think back to when the Cardinals lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl. Cardinals have yet to refire that type of kindle and stuff like that, so you just never want to have to depend on that at all. And so let's see, Alan says, what about them Cowboys? Released a lot of players this year. And so, yeah, losing Amari Cooper, that's going to be tough right there for Dak. I mean, because Cooper was your one. I get it, CeeDee Lamb, he's the chosen one. But Amari Cooper, he was receiver one out there. So he was the guy that took on the best defender there. And we've seen it around the NFL. Think Juju Smith-Schuster back when he was with Antonio Brown, the numbers he was putting up. And then after Antonio Brown, he was asked to be the number one receiver. It just wasn't there. Guys like that. You think of a guy like maybe Will Fuller or something like that. I think Will Fuller's a good second receiver and stuff like that. Maybe not the guy you want as the receiver one. So we're going to find out about CeeDee Lamb if he's a receiver one or not. I feel like he is a receiver one. But honestly, going against, double teams and stuff like that, that's going to be tough. Now, they were able to lock up Michael Gallup. That was big right there, but still losing Amari Cooper. I mean, you just think about the impact he's had for the Cowboys since he's been there and what Dak was before him. So that was a big loss right there. They are losing a lot of guys here and there, it seems like, all because of the salary cap and stuff like that. But that's what happens when you pay your quarterback all that money, and then you also paid your running back all that money. So at some point, you run out of money. And so this is the year where you gotta bite the bullet this year. Got to let some guys go. And so, Nikki, thank you so much for joining the stream. I hope that you're having a great time here. Appreciate you so much for coming through. But thank you so much for stopping through. And so, but yeah, I mean, this is crazy, guys. Tom Brady returning to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And so, oh, man. This is really interesting, guys. Really interesting. I mean, if you're the Rams, you're trying to run it back. Prior to this news right here, I had the Rams as the favorites to return back. But now, with Tom Brady coming back and that news hitting like it is right before the start of free agency, expect some free agents to go there. Now we know a guy like Rob Gronkowski probably going to be staying down there in Tampa Bay now. And so that's just what happens here. It's going to be an avalanche of an effect here. Guys are going to come in here, take team-friendly deals to come play with Tampa Bay here. And so would not be surprised if Tampa represents the NFC next year. Let's see. Mike says, Brady waited for JB stream. Yes. You know what would be funny right now, Mike? It'll be real funny if Brady's dad says that Brady did not say that he's going to unretire, just like he did when Brady said he was going to retire and stuff like that. That would be real funny. Real funny. Let's see. Mike says, Isaiah McKenzie re-signed. Yes, please. And so I'm saddened by this, Mike. I was hoping he'd be a Patriot, so I would be saddened by that. Very saddened. Let's see. Old man says, Brady seeing how bad the NFC is, Tom Brady about to win his 8th. And so that's honestly what it comes down to. You think about teams in the NFC. I don't think the Cardinals are going to replicate what they did last year early on in the season. Something's going on down there in Arizona, and where there's smoke, there's fire. So whether or not Kyler Murray's not happy, whether or not they don't believe in Kyler Murray, one thing I do know is that this team's probably not going to replicate what they did at the beginning of last year. So I crossed them out. 49ers, they seem interested in perhaps trading them away, Jimmy Garoppolo, which on the surface seems like a good idea, but honestly, it's going to come down to Trey Lance. Can he take that big leap in year 2? That's what's going to determine that 49ers future right there. I would honestly wait until Trey Lance takes the job from Jimmy G. If he's the better quarterback, he should have been able to come in there and compete in the offseason and show me he's quarterback number 1, rather than me trading him away, not knowing what I'm going to get. Because Jimmy, is at least if he's healthy and the team is healthy, he gets you to the playoffs. He at least gets you that. But Trey Lance, I would have waited until he came in and took the job from him, honestly. That's what I would have waited for. Let's see. Mike says, what a great point. And so, absolutely. Let's see. Alan says, I think Brady got 1 or 2 more years left. I think he's trying to get 10 rings. And so I remember when someone asked me before Tom Brady retired, Did I think Tom Brady was going to retire? And I said, no, I think he had 2 more years left in him. I think he comes back and plays this year, and then he plays 1 more year after this year. I think we get to see 2 more years of a Tom Brady-led team down there in Tampa. And then after that, I think he'll finally be able to go ahead and retire, and that itch will no longer be there. But I think 2 more years is what you'll get from him. Possibly Gronk as well, possibly. If Brady's there and he knows Brady's at the end of his rope, both of these guys have both prematurely retired and came back because they realize life is not the same where you're no longer the big-time quarterback and you're just a dude. Parties aren't the same and all like that. People don't mention you as much. And so, especially for Brady, it doesn't seem like there's much else he wants to do outside of play football. So I understand the scenario that he's in right now. So him coming back, why not? If you can do it, do it. Other quarterbacks that are retired, they say it all the time. If you can still play at that level, do it for as long as you can. Do it for as long as you can. But yeah, so you say he's trying to get 10 rings. And so does Brady get another Super Bowl ring? Let me know if you guys think he's going to get another Super Bowl ring, guys. Let me know. Let's see. Alan says, if I was Cincy, I go build a solid offense to help Joe Burrow. You have to do it. You have to do it. Because if you don't do it, you're going to end up with, think about a quarterback like Andrew Luck when he was down there in Indianapolis. Andrew Luck, with all the talent that they basically had this man. After year 3, they were ready to give this man a gold jacket already. But one thing they wouldn't give this man was an offensive line. And it hurt this man. That's why he's no longer playing quarterback for this team. You see all these quarterbacks playing to they're like, 35, 38. Even Big Ben, with all the hits he's taken throughout the year, he played for a pretty long time. But Andrew Luck had no help in that offensive line for so long that by the time they got an offensive line, it was too late. It was too late. The damage had been done, and the man was a shell of himself out there. So he just went step away from the game, think about his health, his long-term family, and all like that. So I understand that. You got to protect your assets there. Russell Wilson, he was not happy with the offensive line. Obviously, Seattle, they spent the money elsewhere, so they decided they're going to cut back on the offensive line. Russ didn't like that, ended up forced his way out. I'm pretty sure he forced his way out of there. And so, hey, he's no longer there no more. You got to protect your young quarterbacks. Do like the Chiefs did last year when they invested all that money on the offensive line. You have to do that. You've got to do that with your quarterbacks. You've got to. Let's see, old man says, yes, because you already know vets are going to want to play with Brady and they will make cheap deals. Yes, exactly. That is what the difference is. You want to know the difference between Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady? It's not that Tom Brady's just magically better than a man who's got a better arm than him, probably maybe even more accurate than him and stuff like that, like Aaron Rodgers. The problem is Tom Brady is he's a legend. He's an icon. I mean, heck, you think about, some of the, NBA players that are in their prime and stuff like that. I'm talking about like your top tier type of guys. What has helped LeBron James have the success that he's had? Being able to recruit. And Tom Brady is one heck of a recruiter. If Tom comes to you and say, I need you, you're going to be like, when can I start? And stuff like that. Whether you're a defensive player, whether you're an offensive player. If Tom, the GOAT, as many people say, reach out to you and say, I need you, you're going to come and play for him. I don't care who you are. You're going to come play for him. And that's what helps him at this point be able to compete at this point. When he left New England, I said it then, I'll say it again. He left because he realized the talent down there in New England wasn't there, and he wasn't able to recruit at that point. At that point, people knew Bill Belichick was strict. They knew the Patriots weren't going to pay them money, all of that stuff. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to play in warmer weather, and I'm going to attract guys and be like, look, we're down here at Tampa, we can just go out here and have some fun together, and we can get some more chips. And, hey, I mean, he's shown he can do that. Guys want to play with him. They really do. Yes, the old man says, Alan, you're right. Ask JB how pissed I get when it comes to teams not getting O-line. And so, yes, old man does not like that. And I don't blame him. You've got to protect your quarterback. I mean, that's, the most important piece. Teams, they will trade so many first-round picks to get a quarterback. So you get a quarterback, you got to protect them, man. You've got to protect your quarterback, because the last thing you need is for a kid to go down there and get injured. I think about the injury that Alex Smith had. You don't want to see a young kid go down there, or any guy out there playing quarterback go down there and get the type of injury that he had down there a couple years ago. You don't want to see stuff like that. You don't want to see a guy get beat up constantly, going out there getting sacked 12 plus times in a game, running for his life, getting hit out there, always on the injured list. You don't want that from your quarterback. because you want to be able to extend their career for as long as possible. And so let's see. Mike says, nice to meet you, Von Miller. And he says, hey, Cooper. And so there you go. There you go. There you go. Absolutely, guys. But, man, what an eventful day today. I know we started off talking about the March Madness bracket there, but obviously Tom Brady had other plans. He would not let us have this day for the NCAA selection tournament there. He decided to steal the thunder, guys. And, wow. As the old man says, so I guess everyone owes Skip Bayless a sorry because he's been saying Brady's not done. And so, I mean, it was never a question of whether or not Tom Brady was done in terms of skill-wise and stuff like that. But, I mean, I would like to think that a guy like Tom Brady took some time to think about this retirement and stuff like that. But, hey, Skip's been alluding to it and all like that. You know, we heard lots of rumors, and you know what they say, when there's smoke, there's fire. You know, like first we were hearing the 49ers. Then that rumor just started turning into the Miami Dolphins. But ultimately, it's Tampa. When we saw Tampa not making any type of moves to try to go after a quarterback, they just seem unbothered. And so they must have known something that we didn't. They must have known something that we did not know. And so let's see. Mike says, JB show solid banger today. Appreciate that, Mike. Appreciate that. That's why we're still live and we're still going strong here. I mean, you see in the background there, the NCAA tournament bracket there, but that was the headline there. But Brady came back and stole the show. And so, as Jay says, Brady is back. What's good with you, Jay? What's good with you? How's it going? But, man, guys, to think that Brady came back and the timing of it. This man knew for a while he was going to come back, guys. He knew for a while he was going to come back. And so, wow, think about that. Tampa Bay right back again. Just when you think that the division might be up for grabs, Brady says, nope, no, you don't. But I'm telling you, it'll be very interesting if the Saints can somehow acquire Deshaun Watson at quarterback. If they can get Deshaun Watson at quarterback, the Saints very well could possibly end up, who knows, maybe even winning that division. We know the struggles that Tampa has had against the Saints. So that would be very intriguing if they end up being the team to get Deshaun Watson. I know both them and Carolina are going to be aggressive in trying to pursue Deshaun Watson there, but we'll see how that plays out, guys. We'll see how that plays out. That's the old man says, I bet EA is pissed because they put out a LTB Brady when he retired. Now he's back. And so it took me a minute as well, old man, to really just accept that. But, guys, Brady is back. And so you know that means Grunk's coming back. You know that means Grunk's coming back. You already know that. Jay says John Madden will be on the cover of Madden this year, as he should be. As he should be. The late John Madden should definitely grace the cover there. And I'm excited about that. I am excited about that. I wish we can add some of his commentary back to the game and stuff like that for this upcoming year. But absolutely, absolutely. Good old John Madden. Yeah, let me go ahead and move this. Just for anybody that is tuning in here that did not get a chance to see the bracket earlier. But, yeah, guys, this is big-time news. There's so many trades. How do you guys feel about all these trades taking place in the NFL as well? Like, this has been so many trades taking place here. Absolutely crazy, guys. Absolutely crazy. I mean, and again, we started off here talking about March Madness and the brackets here. And by the way, Jay, I'm pretty sure you've got Kansas winning it all this year. I know Kansas is your team. Do you have them winning it all this year? Let me know that. And so let's see. All right, so Jay says that he Wentz going to Washington. And you know who else likes it? Everybody else in that division likes that one. But, I mean, all jokes aside, though, I mean, Carson Wentz, he did throw 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. What gets me, though, is just the timing of those turnovers for Carson Wentz. That's what gets me. I mean, if you go in there and you give me 27 touchdowns and you give me just 7 interceptions and stuff like that, you know, most of the time, I may not be upset with that. You know, I might bring you back another year, most likely. I mean, just 7 picks, but it's the timing of those 7 picks. I mean, he has moments at the end of the game that just makes you say, what in the world were you thinking, son? Why would you do that? You know, like you just threw it up there to the defender. And so, but Washington needed a quarterback. They needed a quarterback. And so much so they believed that they went ahead and invest in Carson Wentz to come in there and be that guy. I mean, hey, maybe that might help Scary Terry out there. I still say go ahead and add another receiver if you're Washington here. Help him out. Get another receiver out there to help him out. But yeah, I mean, they did get a quarterback here. If he can come out there and give them good performance in the clutch, like we need clutch to happen, man. Like if he can be clutch for this team, that could be a good trade for them. But it's going to come down to really the last 2 minutes of the game when the game is close. Will Carson Wentz win the game for you, or will he lose the game for you? But I do like that they took the initiative here for Washington to just go out there and identify a quarterback early, and let's go ahead and get one here. Rather than, go ahead and draft the guy, have to raise him. They decide we're going to go ahead and, get our guy now. We'll see if it pays off, though. Jay says so you got Kansas going to the Final Four. And so, okay, that's a safe bet, I think, Final Four. Allen says he's got every Madden game from 1988 to Madden 22 because of John Madden, and you got the Zags of Arizona this year. And so, watch, you got every single game dating back to Madden 88. That's big. So tell me this, Allen, what do you think is the best Madden game, or at least your favorite Madden game of all time? What year was your favorite Madden game of all time? Let me know that. If there's multiple years, maybe a top 3 or something like that, or you can't decide between the two, let me know your favorite. I'm really interested in seeing your favorite one, having played so many Madden games myself. Let's see, old man says it's going to be a crazy year, and I think Gronk was talking about him playing for a new quarterback just to get Brady pissed off, and he knew he would come back. That's something Gronk would do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. Boston Sports says, what's up, man? What's good with your Boston Sports? We got Boston Sports here. We got so many Patriot fans here at one thing. I feel like this is almost a Patriots type of stream, guys. And you say, what's up, man? You ready for free agency tomorrow? I am ready for free agency. Man. I've been ready for it, man. I'm going to be watching to see what the Patriots do. It's going to be huge for us. And so, Zoomer21, what's good with you? You said you got the Zags over Tennessee. And so, the Zags over Tennessee. Now, Tennessee, they did, win, obviously, the SEC tournament. They got that championship under their belt. They're playing tremendous basketball as of right now. I think peaking at the right time. They're certainly a team I've got my eyes on that certainly can get hot, and we'll see from there. And you say Gonzaga's path, and I'll go ahead and go to that real quick to look at Gonzaga's path there. You look at this path, I can't think of a more clear path to the Final Four than what they've got in front of them. And so starting off against Georgia State, you would have to think Gonzaga's going to win that one. Whether it's Boise State or Memphis, certainly a winnable game right there for them. And then, moving on, whether it's, whoever it ends up being, Uconn, Arkansas, Mexico State, regardless who, these are games that they certainly can and should win. And then, the path right there for Gonzaga is there. It's certainly there. And then you look at what Tennessee has. And so, yeah, Tennessee versus Longwood. I think Longwood's going to give them quite the fright in that game right there. But I think Tennessee finds a way to win because Tennessee is peaking at the right time. Longwood, they would have been my Cinderella this year, but I think Tennessee takes care of business there. So therefore, Tennessee will have will get that win there. And so Tennessee versus Villanova, I think that would be a great matchup right there. Should we get that matchup there? I would be certainly looking forward to that one as well. So I can certainly see a path for Tennessee as well. Hold on, I think I skipped a couple comments here. All right, here we go. Braden says, I'm back, and Tom Brady is back. Yeah, TB12 could not stay silent anymore. He decided to come back here, and the timing of it makes sense. It's going to help the Buccaneers a lot in free agency. It's going to get guys to come back and take less and all like that. If you were worried about Leonard Fournette going somewhere else, I think it's safe to say Leonard Fournette, he'll stay as well here in Tampa, and other guys will want to stay as well if they can help it. So expect Tampa to be right back up there again next year. Let's see. Jay says Chargers will be really good next year, Khalil Mack. And so when I saw that trade happen with Khalil Mack, the first thing I thought about for the Chargers was I thought about the good old Sean Marion days and stuff like that, for the Chargers. I think this would be a big piece for them defensively. I would love to see the Chargers go out there and be able to acquire another cornerback to put on the other side of Asante Samuels Jr. and stuff like that. If you can do that and keep making the moves like that and everybody can stay healthy, I mean, hey, it could really be right now, I'm thinking a 3-man race right now for the top of the division. And right now, the only team that I'd exclude as of right now is the Raiders. They've got some work to do right now to try to catch up right now. But we'll see how that plays out. Doesn't mean they're going to come in last, but in terms of the teams that have a chance to come in first right now in that division based on how everything's going. Let's see. Alan says 2006 to – okay, so in terms of your favorite Maddens, you've got 06. 06 was definitely a great one right there. That's when they brought in, I think, the quarterback Cone right there. Grace the cover of that Madden. I remember 2010, 2010, 2017, 2018, and then you say 07 and 08, Madden 22. And so, okay, bet. You said on the PS5 and a 4K. And so, hey, it does. And so bet. And so for me, my favorites, 2005, when they had, Ray Lewis on the cover and stuff like that. They had the Tony Bruno, I believe, on the radio, all the training camp drills and stuff like that. So 05, 06, I'll go 08, and then 09. I had the one for 09 on the original Xbox and stuff like that. I like that one better than the one on the 360 on there because I'm an Xbox guy, so I like that one better. Some of the more recent ones there, I mean, I do like what they did with the home field advantage here in 22, 2019, 2020, some of the more recent ones there. 2012 was mine, though. I feel like that was my peak in terms of 2012, me playing Madden. Let's see. Boston Sports says, everything has been good for me. How about yourself? Everything is great. I mean, I've been streaming here for some hours here. So, yeah, everything is great. You say maybe this should be a Patriot stream then. You say, hello, nah, wait for tomorrow. So, yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Alan says TV look good. And so, oh, yes. And so Jay says, he's second. You say he's second. The second I heard about Brady news, I rushed to see if you were live, JB. Your coverage is much better than ESPN coverage. And so, yeah, I mean, shoot, I had to find out, here through the chat because I was so focused here on going through the bracket and stuff like that. Then all of a sudden, Tom Brady decides that he wants to break his news. He says, forget what college basketball is doing. He wants to break his news. And he did it. He did it today. He could have did it yesterday. He really could have did it yesterday, but he did it today. But, yeah, TB12 is back, guys. And not only that, that's why a guy like Chris Godwin probably decided to come back and stay for Tampa. That's huge right there. Obviously, Mike Evans and stuff like that. So, those guys, if I'm Mike Evans, though, I'm so happy. I'm so happy with how this offseason played out compared to what it could have been. I got my boy Chris Godwin to come back and stuff like that. And then TB12 still my quarterback. Wow. Let's see. Braden says the Browns are looking into a trade that would send Baker Mayfield and picks to the Texans for Deshaun Watson. And so, are we serious, Braden? Are we serious? If that turns out to be the trade right there, I'll have to say a lot of good things about the Cleveland Browns here. Because I know I've been probably saying a lot of negative things about Cleveland as an organization as of late. But if that were to actually happen, though, I'd be fired up right there for Cleveland and stuff. I might do my own LeBron James impersonation of saying, Cleveland, this is for you. And so imagine that, having Watson and then having guys like Chubb in the backfield. I mean, my goodness, him and Hunt. Wow. And then not to mention Cooper. Wow. Jay says, what will the Texans' options be at quarterback? I feel this year Houston must stick with Davis Mills. Let's see what he does for the entire season and just go ahead and work on the rest of the team. You focus on that. They got a lot of needs out there, a lot of needs. Davis Mills showed some promise to where you can bring him back one more year. Is he the long-term future? I'm not going to say he is. If you ask me to say yes or no, I'm going to say no. But he's good enough right now to where you don't have to draft someone this year. You can hold off for next year. See what he does a full year, kind of like what the Eagles did with Jalen Hurts. They brought him back last year, ended up having a Pro Bowl type season. So, it kind of worked out for them. So see what Davis Mills can do for a full season. Get some help for him, some weapons around him. And not that, go out there, add some receivers, work on the offensive line, get you a safety, stuff like that. So use the draft at other positions and stick with what you got. There's no need to trade for a guy like Jimmy and waste those assets or something like that. Just stick with what you got there. If you can somehow, I guess, maybe if Terod can come back or something like that, maybe if you want him back, I don't know. But Davis Mills should be quarterback one for the Texans come the start of the season. I feel like you got to invest the resources elsewhere this offseason. Let's see. Braden says Tom Brady ruining March Madness. Right? I'm pretty sure there are people right now that are diehard college basketball fans right now that's saying, what is this guy talking about? Why is he talking football right now? You can thank TB12 for this one. He planned it out. TB12 came in here and completely shifted this from just talking about college hoops. Of course, we're still talking about the bracket here and stuff like that, but the conversation is now starting to include a lot more football content. Let's see. Boston Sports says, did you hear old friend Trey Flowers got released from the Lions? Time for a reunion. Pair him up with Judon. You know, me and Old Man Mob, we discussed that earlier about Trey Flowers being released and stuff like that from Detroit. That would be a great reunion right there. I certainly would welcome that, especially if he came in at a team-friendly deal and stuff like that. So I certainly would love to see that. I'd love to see a reunion with Brandon Cooks as well. That's a receiver I would love to see join our team. I think his leadership and what he means, that would be great. That would be absolutely great. Let's see. Alan says, yeah, I got both PS5 and Xbox Series X. And so my man Alan, he out here balling, guys. He got the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. If you guys want to know why you can't get your hands on it, look no further than Alan. He's out here, got all the latest consoles out here, man. Like, wow. And so, and then he says, then a 3080 gaming PC. Wow, trying to be a streamer on here. And so you do streaming and stuff. I'm gonna have to check out some of your work and stuff like that. I'm definitely gonna have to check out some of your work and stuff like that. Are you streaming mostly like sports games, or what type of games are you streaming? Definitely let me know. Let's see. Braden says, LOL. Let's see. Alan says, we talking about basketball earlier to the NFL. And so, yeah, we were talking basketball. We were diving so deep in here, had our Cinderella picks out here, all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, this happens. And my one question I can think of right now is, where's 80s? That's what I'm thinking right now. Where is 80s right now? Let's see. Old man says, Gronk just tweeted out Brady tweet with and so, yeah, I mean, yeah, this is probably news to him too. I mean, Brady probably just woke up and said, you know what? I miss it too much. I'm going to come back. But, man, I mean, Brady continues to lift the bar, guys. He's continuing to lift the bar here for the age in terms of what's possible. And now when we draft quarterbacks, we're not thinking a quarterback for the next 10, 15 years. We're thinking a quarterback for the next 20, 25 years when you draft a quarterback. That is what Tom Brady's doing to the position here, and I love it. I got to love it. Got to love it here. So now, I mean, guys who used to think, oh, I'm 35, maybe I'm getting old now, not so much, you know. I mean, heck, Aaron Rodgers, too, he's out here getting new deals with the Packers and stuff like that. He is the only quarterback that I've seen that has successfully kept his first-round pick backup as a backup this long. And, like, I don't think Jordan Love's ever going to get the start in this league for the Packers. I'm starting to think that. I mean, if you guys are the Packers, what do you guys do with Jordan Love at this point? Let's see. Boston Sports says, interesting fact, I heard Trey Flowers' first interview when he joined the Lions. The thing that led him to Detroit was Patricia drafting him. Hope he thinks that way coming back. I mean, hey, there's no place like home, right? There's no place like home. So come back. Come back. We're ready for him. Jay says that he wished that his Kansas State made it into the tourney. He said they fired. Yeah, you guys did fire your head coach. I did see that. So it'll be interesting to see who they go after. Is there anybody that you have in mind, Jay, that you would like to see them target in terms of a potential hire for Kansas State that you think like would be the best choice for you guys? Let me know that. That's the old man Mob says, if that's the case, glad we got Mac Jones. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm hearing some good stuff now about Mac Jones in terms of his training and stuff. I mean, we obviously know at the shape that we drafted him in, he came in looking like, honestly, how Tom Brady looked at the time that we drafted him. Not to make the comparison between the two, but I think that he's going to continue to work on bettering himself. He's going to get better as he ages on. I know a lot of people are ready to write him off and stuff like that. He was a rookie. He was a rookie last year. Not every rookie is going to go out there and just light it up in year one. You know, but I feel like he's going to, you know, learn to progress. If we get the right pieces around him to coach him up, he's going to be just okay. Next year, you'll see improvement. And by year 3, year 4, we'll start to see what he's really made of at that quarterback position for the Patriots. We just got to get some weapons around him because, quite frankly, I understand what he's going through. I play Madden with the Patriots a lot, and I am not impressed with the lack of separation our receivers get from time to time. So he needs some help. I understand that. Let's see. Alan says, okay, so you're mostly streaming sports games and the new games release. You say you played Madden 22 last night. It was Cincy versus, and it was online, playing online. and that was against the LA Rams. And so, okay, bet. Did you win that matchup? That's the question. Did you win that matchup there? But that's great. That's great. And so, yeah, so if you guys haven't heard, so Alan, he's streaming, a lot of these games here, whether we're talking PlayStation 5, whether we're talking Xbox Series X, he has it all. So, yeah, you guys want to challenge him, play against him, all that stuff, let him know and all like that. But, yeah, show him some support here and check him out. Let's see. Boston Sports says exactly, man. And so, yes, exactly. Old man says JB rumors are the Steelers and the coach might try and trade for Jordan Love. If I'm the coach, and if this was someone that we actually took time, our scouting report, like our scouting team actually took time to scout this guy, and if this was someone that you did like back then, I probably would hit up the coach right now. I mean, the Packers right now and see what exactly do they want for Jordan Love, because if we can get him at the right price, if I'm the coach, then you go ahead and you pull the trigger. Because right now, you're not going to be able to draft a quarterback in the future right now. And you need a quarterback. You need someone that can come in. So if you believe in Jordan Love and you think you got the resources to where he can excel in that offense, go ahead and go for him. Go ahead and maybe acquire a guy like Marcus Mariota as well. Heck, if you can get both at the right price, go ahead and get both. Then see which one you like better as quarterback one when it's come time, open competition, stuff like that. Heck, if somehow, I don't know the situation with Nick Foles and all like that, whether or not he's available, whether or not, he's, I know that contract is something that was a problem for the Bears, but if you can get away from that contract there, maybe he's someone you might want to come in and have as a backup or something like that for one of these quarterbacks, whether Jordan Love, Marcus Mariota, or something like that, someone that's been in the system and has had success, something like that. So many routes that you can go at, but this is really going to be a challenge here for the Colts because, quite frankly, all the big-time quarterbacks that's available, a.k.a. Deshaun Watson, you don't have access to it. Houston's not going to give a quarterback inside the same division, so that's not going to happen. So you can only hope that something goes wrong, seriously wrong with Kyler Murray down there in Arizona, and even then, I don't see them just trading him at all, not like that. That would be something that would have to play out for some years before he becomes available. So if you can get Jordan Love, you might have to take that risk if you're Indianapolis. You might have to. I think it makes more sense for the Colts than it does for the Steelers. If you're the Steelers, you can go ahead and draft someone in round one. I personally feel Kenny Pickett is the man that you want to take there, Kenny Pickett, with that pick. But, just see who's available in the draft. Let's see. Jay says he wants Kansas State to hire Illinois head coach Brad Underwood. He was born in Kansas and played with Kansas State and has coached us before as an assistant. And so I would like that. I would like that. Now, fighting the line, I aren't going to let that happen. But yes, I would like that. I would like that. Let's see. Boston Sports says, is it true we only have $10 million in cap space this year because we signed Devin McCourty to a one-year deal worth $9 million? And so, according to what old man said earlier, this is probably only going to cost maybe about a good 4.4 or 5 million really against our cap and stuff like that. But yeah, in terms of that one, that's a question I may have to leave to old man to answer that one in terms of where we're currently sitting at right now, cap wise and stuff like that. But that's a good question. Let's see. Adam says, yeah, he won by 21. All right, so Adam out there getting W's, guys, out there getting W's. Let's see. Adam says, now here's the question. Did the Bucs try and draft the quarterback? No, they do not draft the quarterback here because if you draft the quarterback, you are wasting. First of all, Brady's going to tell you no. I came back. I don't like having backup quarterbacks that you draft, but they already drafted Kyle Trask last year. And so at least, give him a little bit of time to develop and stuff like that. You've already got Blaine Gabbert, and they spoke so highly of him and their confidence in him. So I don't think that they draft the quarterback this year. I don't think they do it this year. If they do, maybe next year, but I don't think they draft one this year. I think right now, you're right. Tom Brady's back. Blaine Gabbert's quarterback 2, and they got Kyle Trask right now as quarterback 3, who they drafted last year in the second round. I think the second or third, second round out of University of Florida. So I think Kyle Trask, he's young enough to where you can at least continue to work on him, developing him right now. So I don't think they end up drafting the quarterback. Yes, the old man says right now our cap space is 10 mil. Before Devin deal, we had about roughly 5 or 6 mil. And so, okay, so it is at 10 mil. And so, yeah, don't expect Patriots to go out there and splurge. That's all I can say. There's a reason J.C. Jackson's going to be on the market, guys. There's a reason why. Oh, as much as I want to keep J.C. Jackson around, I want to keep him around so bad, guys. All right, let's see. Oh, hold on. I didn't even read that. Let me see. Okay, so Boston Sports says, because if it is true, we have to restructure some contracts to announce and money to make signings. And so, yeah, we're going to have to restructure some deals. That's what Bill does. Believe that. Bill, he will restructure some contracts and stuff. If I was a player, every year I would be afraid because I know that Bill's going to contact me and say, hey, I'm going to need you to, reduce that salary this year. So every year. Let's the old man says rumors are Trent Brown will test his value in free agency as he should. And we can clear up 22, 23 million if we trade. That's right, Isaiah Wine. And then there's also Nelson, N'Keal Harry. I'm sorry, Nelson and N'Keal Harry. And then you say our back left in. And so I don't know why we still got Harry on the books, honestly, but I definitely want to see Wynn get traded as well. Definitely want to see that happen sooner rather than later. So then Nelson Aguilar, I mean, if we can get someone an upgrade, I say go ahead and get that, especially if we can bring in a guy like Brandon Cooks. I really want to see Brandon Cooks come in here for the Pats. I really want to see that happen. So, but yeah, there's ways that we can go ahead and free up some cap here, and I expect Bill Belichick to get that done. Bill does a great job of getting that done. Boston Sports says, I hope I hear some restructures tonight so I don't get nervous with how tight our cap space is. I'm sure Bill's on the phone right now as we speak. He's probably watching the stream right now and on the phone right now as well, knowing good old Coach Bill. And so let's see. All right, so 1 second, guys. All right, guys, so give me 1 second to set this up here, guys. 1 second. All right, let's see. All right, guys, so I think we've reached that time here. We can continue to talk about, what's happening here in the NFL here, but I will go ahead and I will do my first pick 'em here for this bracket here. So this will be very interesting, guys. Very interesting. There's going to be a lot of tough decisions to be made here. Can you guys see this? I probably might have to make this bigger, honestly. See if I can make this bigger. Let me see something. All right, let me know, guys, if you guys can see this a lot better here. Let me know if you guys can see what I pulled up here for my bracket, the first one that I'll go ahead and fill out here while we're live. Let's see. Let's see. Boston Sports says, just imagine he shows up. Hey, if he shows up, I'm asking for employment there. I want to be a GM here for the Pats. Go ahead and let's make that happen. Let's see. Boston Sports says, yes, I can see it. And so, okay, bet. Great. Old man says, we can free up another 15, 20 mil by doing Hunter Henry, Judon, and Shaq Mason. And so there are options there, but we're going to keep, let's get Hunter Henry if he wants to restructure. I don't want to offend the man, but if him and Judon are okay with a restructure, then yes, I'm asking them nicely. Anybody else, I'm demanding that they go ahead and restructure. All right, so let's go ahead and get this on the road, guys. And so this will be my pick right here as we go through it live here for my first version of this. So I'll go ahead and start with the West. And so for the West, Gonzaga versus Georgia State. I love upsets, but I'm not crazy. I'm going to go Gonzaga to win this one. And so Gonzaga, I know they have an easier path here. Georgia State, glad that you were able to join us here, but I think that they're going to be going home very early. They're just happy to be there. Congratulations to them, though, for getting there. Boise State versus Memphis. This is it. Memphis, this is like a coin toss right here. And so just to look at this, obviously, Memphis average, let's see, against top 25 play, Memphis has been tested 3-1 against the top 25. Boise State hasn't won a game against the top 25 opponent here. And so in conference play, though, Boise State 15-3, Memphis 13-5. That doesn't really matter right now. Averaging 75 points a game here for Memphis. And Boise State's averaging about 69 points a game here. And so, yeah, I mean, they've got some nice, impressive wins. So you look at the notable wins here you've got for, notable results. You look at Boise State. They won 3 times against San Diego State. That's another team that did make the tournament here. Lost twice against Colorado State. They won 2 times against Wyoming. Lost once. And then you look at Memphis. They beat Houston 2 times, lost once. They beat Virginia Tech by 8 earlier this regular season, beat Bama by 14. Some impressive wins, lost to Murray State by 2 points. 2 points here. I'm not going to hold that against them there. One win against SMU, but they lost to Iowa State by 19. I don't like that. They did beat St. Louis by 16 right there. But it's like I said, consistency is the issue here for Memphis. But round one, everybody's going to be excited. Everybody's going to be juiced up here. I got Memphis winning that matchup against Boise State there. So that's what I've got in that one. All right, Uconn versus New Mexico State here. So let me just take a quick look here at this. All right, so they're averaging in terms of their defense. So their defense has been basically about even in terms of allowing 65 points a game here. Again, New Mexico State has not played the top 25 team this year. And then you look at Uconn, 3-4 against top 25. So I like the fact that they played 7 teams in the top 25. That lets me know the competition that you're playing is up there. They're averaging 75 points a game here, while New Mexico State averaging about 73 points a game here. Let's look at the notable wins here. For New Mexico State, let's see. For Uconn here. They beat Villanova 1 time, lost twice. Beat Auburn by 6. Lost to Providence by 4. Okay, lost to Michigan State here as well. Lost to Creighton twice. Marquette, they won twice. So I do like that for them. Meanwhile, for New Mexico State, they did beat Davidson by 12. But I think that speaks more to Davidson than them. And then beat Washington State by 3. Let's see what they say about the team summary here. Aggies get 31.5 points a night from their guards. And so obviously being guard heavy here, that's going to be important there for New Mexico State. Uconn is the best shooting squad, they say. They about 40% of their offensive rebounds. Let's see. Dominant off the boards, led by their forwards defensively. Do an excellent job of avoiding foul trouble here. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go Uconn here to win this one. And so I expect New Mexico State to put up a great fight in this one, but ultimately I'm going to go ahead and go Uconn to win that one. All right, Arkansas versus Vermont, guys. And so that 4 versus 13 matchup here. And so you look at top 25 here. Arkansas's 4-1 in the top 25 here versus UVM. And so they're 0-1 against top 25 here. But in conference play, 17-1. Averaging both teams like to put up a lot of points here. I don't like this loss here to Maryland by 11. I really don't like that loss there to Maryland by 11. I don't like it at all. Lost to Providence by 10. So they have some nasty losses here for UVM. And then you look at Arkansas. I mean, just looking at what they've done here, obviously battling back and forth. They split with Tennessee. They beat Kentucky twice. They did lose to Bama, but by 1 point, but they lost to Oklahoma by 22. I don't know what the heck happened in that game. Lost by 2, but they did beat LSU 3 times. I'm seeing a lot of good stuff here for Arkansas. I'm going to go ahead and have Arkansas win that matchup there. So there we go. I mean, I thought about going Vermont there, but looking at the breakdown here, it convinced me to go Arkansas. And so, all right, so Bama here versus Rutgers, Notre Dame. And so I actually think that whoever wins this game here has a chance at an upset. So I'm going to go ahead and go that Bama loses this matchup here with whomever they end up facing. Now, I know it's tough to pick a team that you don't know for sure who's going to get there. Whether I've seen enough of Rutgers to where if they're facing Bama, I kind of like that matchup there. I know it's called me crazy, but this is, NCAA tournament, so it's going to be some crazy stuff here. So I got that. Meanwhile, let me go ahead and see what you guys are saying here in the chat section here, so I'm not just storming through this. SEO man says, yep, I can see. All right, so everybody can see the picks. That's good. Jay says, yes, we can see. All right, and so let's see. Boston Sports says, by doing what to Henry, Judon, and Mason, though, man? In terms of trying to restructure their contract. I believe that, in terms of restructuring their contract. Old man says, JB can be the GM, and I'll do the draft for the Patriots. And so, hey, that'll be a nice teamwork right there. I'm all for it. And so let's see. Boston Sports says, just need to be clarified. And so, bet. And so, Low Gamer 1012, what's good with you? Thank you so much for coming through. How are you doing? Appreciate you for coming through. And so let's say you said, want to hear my bracket prediction. And so absolutely, yeah, let me know that here in the chat, and we will definitely go through your picks as well here. And so let's see, Boston Sports says, be back. All right, appreciate that. So let me go ahead here and finish out this round right here, and I'll go ahead and get back to what you guys are saying. And so, all right, so next up, we've got Texas Tech versus Montana. And so for me, you look at this versus the top 25, 7-4 against the top 25 here for Texas Tech. They're 25-9 on the season here. They're averaging about 71.7 points a game here. And then you've got MTST. They've got, let's see, they haven't played anybody in the top 25 here. The BPI rank is 160. Conference play 16-4. I think Texas Tech wins this one here. I'm pretty certain about Texas Tech winning this one. So I'm going to go Texas Tech winning that matchup there. All right. And so let's see, Michigan State versus Davidson. This one right here, I'm really going to have to take a deep dive at the numbers, guys, for this one. So let's see. Obviously, Michigan State on the year 22-12, Davidson's 27-6. So when you look at the opponent's points per game here, Michigan State's giving up about 68 points a game, while Davidson's giving up about 66 points a game there. So relatively even in that regards. Versus top 25, Michigan State, they're 4-8 against the top 25 so far this season, while Davidson is 1-0 against the top 25. Obviously, it's an extremely small sample size right there. And conference play, Davidson 15-3, Michigan State 11-9, but Michigan State was in the Big Ten, so we'll give them that benefit of the doubt in that regards there. Averaging points per game there, Davidson 75.6, Michigan State 72.1. And so now we're going to look at some of the notable results here for this one. And so Purdue, they split with Purdue for Michigan State. And then they also lost to Baylor by 17. Baylor is a 1 seed there. That's a nasty loss. They lost to Kansas by 13. What does that tell me? All the teams that are not in your conference that are like top tier teams, they take some nasty losses in that one. They lost to Iowa by 26 points, guys. 26 points. They did beat Uconn by 4. They beat Loyola Chicago by 2 points there. 2 points could have gone either way there. They lost to Illinois twice, and then they beat Wisconsin twice and lost once. And meanwhile, for Davidson, they did beat Bama by 1 point there. They lost to San Francisco by 5 points. San Fran is in the tournament. Congrats to them as well. They lost to Dayton by 6 points. They split with VCU, and they beat St. Louis twice. So let's see what the team summary says here. In terms of the team summary, they says, let's see, for Michigan State, they say March arrived at the perfect time for everyone in East Lansing. After a rough February stretch, they didn't have a rough February stretch. Spartans have picked up some much-needed momentum and confidence entering the dance. And so speaking of confidence, that is going to be important there. That is going to be important there for them. Davidson, obviously, they just coming fresh off a disappointing loss there in which they wanted to win their conference tournament. They did not win that one. And so let's see, they say Michigan State ranks in the middle of the pack when it comes to offensive and defensive efficiency. And Tom Izzo's group is a scrappy bunch. A deep tournament run may be unlikely. Meanwhile, they say for Davidson that the Wildcats operate with little urgency on offense as any team in the field, but don't mistake that for unwillingness to score. The basketball, they are led by a quartet of players that all average 11 points and shoot over 38% from distance. Scoring versatility that can be tough to defend. And they struggle to create turnovers, but if they dictate the tempo, they're a difficult matchup. So for them, they want to dictate the tempo here. And so this was going to be tough, guys, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say Davidson wins this one, guys. I feel like, all the teams that are in there for the Big Ten right now, some teams are going to get put out here early. Davidson is going to go ahead and they're going to be extra motivated coming off that loss they had earlier today. Davidson's going to go ahead and beat Michigan State here, but it's going to be a close one. But I got Davidson winning because, quite frankly, they got a lot of guys that can spread the ball around and create some matchup problems there. Duke versus CSU. I've got Duke winning this one. There's no need to bring that one up there. I've got Duke winning this one. And so I'll complete my rest bracket here in a second, but let me go ahead and see what you guys are saying here in the chat section. And so, all right, let's see. So Low Gamer 1012 says he's got Gonzaga, Memphis, Uconn, Vermont, Bama, Texas Tech, Davidson, Duke. And then he's got Gonzaga, Vermont, Texas Tech, Duke, and then Gonzaga, Duke, and then Zach's going to the Final Four. And so, yeah, and guys, make sure if you haven't already that you guys, first of all, make sure you like the stream right now. And also if you're someone that's new, make sure you do go ahead and subscribe to the channel, guys. I do a lot of play-by-plays, sport news, all that stuff, guys. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Second thing is in the description, I did drop a link. So if you guys want to fill out a bracket here and join the JB Nation bracket for our ESPN Pick'em bracket like I'm doing right here, make sure you guys do join. It's free to join here. I got the link in the description and the password below the link. So make sure you guys go ahead so that way you guys can have your brackets here. And when it's all said and done, we'll take a final look at our bracket and see how everybody did. So it'll be real fun. So make sure you guys, are subscribed and that you guys do go ahead and fill out your brackets here as well as a part of that. So just go ahead and press the link and join that way. So I'll go ahead and see, but let me see. I'll go ahead and fill out my next one here, but we'll look and see what Low Gamer says for this one here. He says he's got Arizona, TCU, Houston, Illinois, Colorado State, Tennessee, Ohio State, Villanova, and then he's got Arizona, Houston, Tennessee, Villanova, and then he's got Arizona, Tennessee, and he's got Tennessee going to the Final Four. And so bet. Gonna get a couple more comments in here quick. Let's see. Old man says, JB, bad news. We're more likely to be losing James Wright. Not James Wright. No, not James Wright. But I figured that was likely to happen. I figure it was. And Chandler Jones is now favored to sign with the – Are you kidding me? Are you serious? So Chandler Jones is going to be the next of the big free agents here to want to go and join Tom Brady down there in Tampa. I was hoping he'd come back to the Patriots. Come back home. And so let's see. I'll go ahead and read this one after I fill out the next round here. But here we go, guys. In the round of 32, this is where things get interesting. And so I've got Gonzaga versus Memphis. Memphis, I feel like you flip a coin. The consistency isn't there, but the upset potential is there. But that being said, though, I'm going to go ahead and go Gonzaga to win this one and make it to the Sweet 16. So Gonzaga over Memphis. And so Uconn, Arkansas. And so let me do a deep dive comparison. We've talked about both of these teams here, especially Uconn and their potential to upset Gonzaga here. But you look at how they do in the top 25 here. Uconn 3-4. You've got Arkansas 4-1. Obviously, all of these mostly come from conference play. So let's take a look at the results here. And so Villanova, they're 1-2. So they won one game, lost two versus Villanova. They beat Auburn by 6 here. And so obviously we went through these earlier. Let's see. I did not read the one for Arkansas for the team summary, but led by guard JD Notre. And so Arkansas plans on attacking offensive style that has made them one of the top teams in the country in terms of 3 free throw attempts. So they like to get to the free throw line here. Multiple scoring options. And so Kentucky, not the best shooting. I mean, not Kentucky. Uconn, not the best scoring team here. I think I've made up my mind here. I'm going to go ahead and go Arkansas to win this matchup here. And so I know we talked about this before in terms of Uconn being a team that can, get there to play Gonzaga, but I think Arkansas here can win this one. I said upset there. It's not really an upset there, but I got Arkansas in that matchup there against Gonzaga. All right. So whoever's going to be representing, whether it's Rutgers or Notre Dame versus Texas Tech, I got Texas Tech winning that matchup there. Davidson versus Duke, guys. Davidson versus Duke. Obviously, Coach K, this is his final year, guys, in terms of, having that chance to go out there for the big dance, guys. And I personally think that Duke, they have that Final Four type of potential, that Elite Eight type of potential. But that being said, though, Davidson could very well get hot. And I'm going to go ahead and say Davidson wins again and gets the upset versus Duke and gets to the Sweet 16. And all of a sudden, everybody's going to be going crazy because Coach K got put out by Davidson, and Davidson makes it to the Sweet 16 again. No Steph Curry this time for Davidson. Got here, no problem. And so Texas Tech versus Davidson, called it an upset right there. And so, all right. So let me go ahead and go through what Low Gamer said here. So he's got Baylor, Marquette, St. Mary's, UCLA, Virginia Tech, Purdue, Murray State, Kentucky. Baylor, UCLA, Purdue, Kentucky, and then UCLA, Kentucky, and then Kentucky goes to the Final Four. And so, yeah, as you guys can see, though, I think Duke's the better team. But on that day, Davidson's just got to be the better team in that matchup there, guys. And so let's see. Jay says he's filling out his bracket along with me. So I appreciate that, Jay. And so Old Man says he's got the Hokies winning it all. You need to know. So Old Man says he's got Virginia Tech going all the way, continuing with what they're doing. Let me go ahead here and get the Sweet 16 on the way here for this for the West Side. And so, all right, so Gonzaga versus Arkansas, guys. Big breakdown here. You look at the teams side by side here. Look at them versus top 25 here. Gonzaga, they're averaging 87.8 points a game here as a team. Meanwhile, for Arkansas, averaging 76.9 games here. But I think right now, Arkansas has been tested. They've been tried. They've been true. I'm going to go ahead and get Arkansas here to upset Gonzaga. That's right. You guys are hearing it right here on the spot, guys. I just went ahead and went with Arkansas here. So not only did I have them beating Uconn here, I got them go ahead and upset Gonzaga here on this one here. Of course, I'll do a couple other brackets as well here. But for this one right here, Arkansas with that win right there. All right, Texas Tech versus Davidson. They say all good things must come to an end. And that's going to be the case here for Davidson, as Texas Tech's going to take care of business here and win that matchup. So we're going to have Texas Tech versus Arkansas here. And so in that matchup here, let's see. So I like Texas Tech defensively. I like that matchup against top 25 here. That lets me know this team has really been through the ranks here. 7-4 against teams in the top 25 here, but Arkansas also 4-1 here. And so a lot to like about these two teams here. And so, wow, looking at this, Texas Tech did beat Gonzaga they lost to Gonzaga by 14. They did lose to them by 14 here. This is a tough one, guys. This is a tough one here right now. Like, I feel like I'm really going back and forth in my mind. Obviously, Texas Tech, very good defense here. But I do like the way that Arkansas is aggressive at getting free throws here. And so, who do I go with here? Do I go Texas Tech or do I go Arkansas? I am really muling this pick. This is probably the toughest pick I've had so far to really think about here. Arkansas, Texas Tech here. I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say that this game comes down to one of those double overtime type of games here. But I'm going to go ahead and say that Arkansas gets the win over Texas Tech and that Red Raiders defense there. And so, I literally flipped the coin in my head there and decided I'm going to go ahead and go Arkansas there. Texas Tech could very well win that type of a matchup there, but I'm going to go ahead and go Arkansas there. So, all right, so I filled out the West bracket. Good chance to go ahead and go through some of the comments here that you guys have. Let's see. Low Gamer says Kansas, Creighton, Iowa, South Dakota. South Dakota State, LSU, Wisconsin, USC, Auburn, and then Kansas, South Dakota State, Wisconsin, Auburn, and then Kansas, Auburn, and then Kansas goes to the Final Four. Okay, bet. And then he's got his Final Four: Gonzaga, Tennessee, Kentucky, Kansas. Pretty solid Final Four there. And then he's got Gonzaga over Kentucky, and then Tennessee over Kansas. And so this year, I am really letting it loose when it comes to these upsets, because you know how unpredictable the bracket is. So I'm really letting loose with these upsets here in this one. Let's see. Low Gamer says national championship, Gonzaga versus Tennessee, and Tennessee defeats Gonzaga. So he's got Tennessee cutting the nets, guys. Let's see. Mike says Davidson win. That's a hot, crazy take, JB, but you agree. And so I appreciate the support there, Mike. And so you know there's going to be some team that goes out there and pulls the upset there. And what an upset that would be if, first of all, Davidson got past Michigan State, and then if they played Duke, and then all of a sudden everybody's thinking Duke's going to win. You know, Duke's going to make a run at the Final Four or at least the Elite Eight. But then all of a sudden, Davidson comes out of nowhere and gets that dub against Duke, catch them sleeping, as a couple teams have caught them sleeping as of late. And so it would be very interesting. Mike says report, Ali Market is furious. And so let's see, James. And so what's good with you, James? You say Duke wins it all. So James says Duke winning it all. Of course, they have that potential there, but these upsets, they could very well happen. The old man says, yeah, last year Bucks offered White a veteran. That's right, they did offer him a vet contract there, but $3 million. And so this year he's more likely to go to the Bucks. I certainly see that being the case there. But they do have Giovanni Bernard, you know. So they've already got quite a few running backs in the backfield there for the Bucks. They really would. Maybe a team like, I don't know, if he's willing to be a third running back. Maybe a team like, I don't know, maybe the Raiders might have some interest there. I don't know. But Braden says, yeah, just got done with my bracket for your group. And so bet. Looking forward to seeing that one. Let's see. Alan says, I say Arkansas. And so, all right, bet. So we're pretty much caught up here on the comments here. So let me go ahead and I'll fill out the South region here. And so Arizona versus, Arizona wins this one in my mind. There's no doubt Arizona wins this one. All right, Seton Hall versus TCU, time here. And so both teams giving up relatively the same amount of points per game here. Rutgers versus the top 5. I like the fact that both of these teams are playing matchups here in the top 25. I do like that, a good amount for both sides. For Seton Hall, they played 9 matchups. For TCU, they played 11. That tells me that you've been contested throughout the season. And then you see TCU's 5-6 against top 25. Seton Hall's 3-6. Let's see, in conference play, Seton Hall 11-8 there, and they're averaging 73 points a game here for Seton Hall, while TCU has about 68 points a game there. And let's see, looking at some of the notable games here. So for Hall, they lost to Villanova twice. They won 1 out of 3 against Uconn here. They lost to Providence by 5, beat Texas by 4. They beat Michigan by 2, lost to Ohio State by 3. They beat Xavier twice, and then lost to Marquette twice. So, yeah, that resume right there, yeah. And then for TCU, Kansas, they beat Kansas once out of 3 attempts. They lost to Baylor twice. They split with Texas Tech. They beat Texas once, lost twice, beat LSU by 9 points, won twice against Oklahoma, split with Iowa State, and won by 4 against Texas A&M. And so they say for Seton Hall here, offense wins games, but rebounding will carry this team, and that they boost excellence front court depth. So they got depth, great rebounding. I like that. They're among the country's best for offensive rebounding. So the second chance opportunities, that's going to be huge. And while their defense is elite, they say they're susceptible to foul trouble. And so it's in the punch to the free throw line at a high rate. So foul trouble is going to be big for this team right here. They've got to find a way to not foul their opponent here. And as for TCU, one of the best defensive teams in this year's tournament, do an excellent job of limiting opponents' three-point attempts. So you can't get threes if you're not putting them up and stuff like that. That is important. Additionally, the Hornet Frogs held Big 12 foes to just 31% shooting throughout the regular season. So, two teams that know how to play defense, but Hall knows how to get some rebounds as well. And then you got a couple guys here who averaged double digits here scoring here for TCU. But the team ranked among the nation's worst in three-point shooting, and that could be problematic there. So based upon this right here, it sounds like TCU may struggle from the three-point line there, but Hall, if they're going to be fouling out there, put them at the free throw line there, that could help TCU out a bit here. I'm going to go ahead and go. This is tough here, guys. This is tough. But I'm going to go ahead and go Seton Hall here to win this one here. So I thought about going TCU there, but I'm going to go Seton Hall on that one there. It was close in my mind there, but I'm going to go ahead and go with them in this one, guys. So, all right, next up, Houston versus UAB. I kind of showed my hand earlier in this one, but first let's go through the numbers here. So in terms of opponents' points per game, Houston playing that stout defense, giving up 59 points a game basically, while UAB giving up about 66 points a game here. Houston is 0-1 against top 25 opponents. UAB hasn't played the top 25 opponent here. And then you look at points per game. If they're averaging, UAB can light it up. They're averaging about almost 81 points a game here. But Houston, they know how to score themselves, averaging almost 76 points a game here. And you look at the losses that they have here for Houston. Lost to Wisconsin by 2. Lost to Bama by 1. That tells me they stay inside of these close games. They beat Oklahoma State by 11, beat Oregon by 29. Meanwhile, UAB lost to San Fran by 2 points there. They split with North Texas here. They beat St. Louis by 5 points here. And so that's why Houston's the 5 seed here. But that being said, they did defeat Louisiana Tech for UAB entering into the tournament here in the Conference USA title game here, led by Jordan Walker. The Blazers have a high-powered guard-oriented offense and do a great job of creating turnovers on defense while limiting their own mistakes on the other end. Obviously, lack of size, that will cause some matchup problems there. But that being said, I think I'm going to go UAB here with the upset, guys. And so UAB over Houston for the upset. And so Houston very well could win this game. I'm well aware of that, but I'm going to go ahead and say UAB get the upset here. And so let me see. Illinois versus Chattanooga. And so Chattanooga is a team that you guys have been saying, some of you guys think this could be an upset here, but I really like this Illinois team. I do like this Illinois team. I like the makeup of their roster here. And so, pure size here is going to come to their advantage here. Pure size here. But, Chattanooga has some guys that can just flat out hoop. They're looking to get their first they got their first, conference win here since their tournament victory way back in 1997. And so, wow, when they made it to the Sweet 16. So, looking at this matchup right here, guys, it's tough to go against this Chattanooga team right here. But let's see. Illinois is going to do a good job of rebounding. Can they stay out of foul trouble in this game? That's going to be huge there. I'm going to go ahead and go Fighting Illini, guys. I'm going to go ahead and go to Fighting Illini, win this matchup here. It's going to be a barn burner here, but I'm going to go ahead and say Fighting Illini win that one in a close one. But expect Chattanooga to come out here and expect the lead to change multiple times in this game. But at the end of the game, I'm going to go ahead and say Illinois just wins it because of their pure size here and gets past the round of 64. Let's see, Colorado State versus Michigan here. So I said it earlier during the season that I still think that Michigan is a team that could go on some type of a run. They're both averaging about 73 points a game on the season here. Michigan, they're 2-7 against top 25. But you look at the Big Ten. The Big Ten, you're playing all these teams that are ranked high and stuff like that. It's a constant battle out there. I mean, they split with Purdue earlier this year. Now, they did lose to Arizona by 18 points. That's a nasty loss. They did split with Ohio State. They lost to Wisconsin by 14 points as well. They've got some nasty losses. They got a lot of losses here. But you look at some of their big wins here. You know, they split with Iowa. Iowa just went on to win the Big Ten championship in the tournament there. And so they did lose twice to Illinois. You look at San Diego State, though. They look at Colorado State. They did beat San Diego State one time, lost to them twice. They did sweep Boise State here. They beat St. Mary's by 16 points here. But ultimately, is this going to be an upset here? That is my question here. Is it going to be an upset? I think I'm going to go ahead and pick Michigan, guys. I'm going to pick Michigan here. Representing the Big Ten here. I think they have that potential where they could, get past this first round here. So I'm going to go ahead and say Michigan gets past Colorado State. And the numbers do favor Colorado State. I will say that here. But I'm going to go ahead and base it off the fact that Michigan, being in the Big Ten, being tried, being tested, they did get some key wins later on in the season and stuff like that. Obviously, they didn't go as far as they wanted to go in the tournament there. But I think Michigan can pull this one off here. And I know they're going to be hyped up for this one. So I went ahead and got Michigan in this one. Longwood versus Tennessee. I don't need to put up the numbers for this one here, guys. I think it's going to be a very close game here. Longwood would be my Cinderella in this pick, in this bracket. However, I think Tennessee does get this win here. Tennessee, they're playing extremely well basketball right now. So I've got Tennessee winning that one, guys. And so, oh, man, here we go, guys. The interesting part of the bracket, guys. Will I go for Ohio State over Loyola Chicago here? You guys know I'm a Buckeyes fan at heart here. I really am. And so my heart tells me go Ohio State. My head tells me to go Loyola Chicago here. But I got to see my Buckeyes win just one. Let's just compare the numbers, guys. Let's compare the numbers. Against top 25 here, Buckeyes 4-3. They are the very definition of inconsistent, guys. They're the very definition of inconsistent here. Averaging both 73.8 points a game here. For Ohio State, you just basically flip a coin toss. That's what you do. Let's see. Loyola, they lost to Auburn by 9. They did beat they lost Michigan State as well by 2, and they beat San Fran by 5. Meanwhile, Buckeyes, they did beat Duke by 5. They lost to Purdue by 3. They beat Illinois by 3. They lost to Iowa by 13. They split with Wisconsin. They split with Michigan. Can you see inconsistency across the board? I flip a coin here in my head. Buckeyes win this one, but I wouldn't put money on that one, guys. But Buckeyes will win this one here in a close one. All right. Villanova versus Delaware. I got Villanova winning that one. No doubt in my mind about that one, guys. And so there we go. Let me go ahead and catch up in the comments here and see what you guys are saying here. Alan, he had Arkansas winning that one. Okay. Braden says he's got Gonzaga playing UCLA and Kansas playing Villanova in the Final Four. And so, UCLA. And so that would be interesting if they can get hot and duplicate what they did last year. Old man said, if we don't bring him back, we should bring back Bowden or draft James Cook. And so I think we'll probably most likely bring back Bowden here. I think that's most likely what's going to happen there. Let's see. Braden says he's got Gonzaga playing Villanova in the championship, and Gonzaga wins 67-61. And so over Villanova, what a matchup that would be. What a matchup that would be if the Zags can go ahead and get them a chip here. Jay says his championship is Baylor beats Kansas 76-68. So he's got Baylor over Kansas, in which this is coming from Jay, who is a Kansas fan here. I thought it would have been the other way around. I thought you would have had Kansas beating Baylor in that scenario. And if that's the matchup, I probably would go Kansas over Baylor there. But, hey, could go either way. You say a Big 12 rematch. And so he's trying to rep the Big 12 here. Old man says he's got Ohio State. Old man said he's going to go all the way off the chart. He says, screw the experts and all like that. He said, you want to see upset city? He says Virginia Tech versus Ohio, meaning Ohio State here. And so that's what he says there. Got to love that bold projection there by Old Man Mob. And again, guys, if you are just tuning in, make sure you leave a like here. Also, subscribe here to the channel. We do a lot of these sports conversations here along with play-by-play, live stream, sport news, all that stuff, guys. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, guys. And make sure you guys also take the time to fill out your own bracket. Join the JB Nation. In the description, I did drop the link there for you guys to be able to join there. I got the password up under it, so go ahead and press the link. Join there, enter the password, guys, and you can fill up to 7 brackets. That's right, up to 7 brackets and all like that. And we'll see later on how everybody does when we look at it when it's all said and done. All right, but here we go. I'm going to do my round of 32 now. Arizona versus Seton Hall. I got Arizona, baby. I've got Arizona going deep in this one. UAB versus the Fighting Illini here. This would be an interesting one, guys, but I think the pure size of the Fighting Illini will cause problems in this matchup here for UAB. So I got to think about this one, guys. Got to think about this one. For UAB, let me just pull this up one more time, guys. And so Fighting Illini here. I mean, UAB would be on a Cinderella type of run if this is the case, guys. I mean, high-powered offense here. Ooh, but let's see. But, I mean, the Fighting Illini, they are tremendous on both ends of the court here. They're ranking in the top 25 nationally, offensively, and near the top of the Big Ten when it comes to adjusted defensive efficiency here. Ultimately, the size for the Fighting Illini, just too much for UAB, so they get stopped at the round of 32. Sorry, guys. That's as far as they're going to go. But let's see. Michigan versus Tennessee. And so the upset potential could be there for Michigan, but I'm not going to go all the way crazy here. I'm going to go ahead and got Tennessee to win this one and keep their streak going. Meanwhile, Ohio State versus Villanova. We're going to take a deep dive here. I feel like with Ohio State, you basically just flip a coin here, and that's what's going to happen. Meanwhile, for Villanova, they are 8-5 against the top 25. Ohio State, they're 4-3, but they're coming from the Big Ten, a strong conference here. And so I know that the end of the season was not that great there. Let's see. For Villanova, they say the tournament's best free throw shooting team, just doesn't make mistakes, and they rarely turn the ball over or get into foul trouble. And so it's going to come down to their guards hitting their threes here, but I'm going to go ahead and say, unfortunately, that Villanova does win that matchup there against Ohio State, and Ohio State season comes to an end. You guys might see me cry on the stream or something like that if that's the case. I'm hoping this is wrong. I'll fill out other brackets in which I probably give Ohio State that edge, but for this one right here, I got to go ahead and say that Ohio State loses that one. And so it's tough. It was really tough for me to do that, guys, really tough. Let me go ahead and do my Sweet 16 here. So Arizona versus Illinois, I got Arizona winning that one. Tennessee versus Villanova, I'm going to go ahead and go Tennessee to win this one, guys. So Tennessee over Villanova. I can see Villanova winning that one as well, but Tennessee versus Arizona. And in that matchup, Arizona puts Tennessee out of their misery. So, yeah, but hey, what a run that would be, guys. What a run it would be. So, all right. So that's what we have up there, and I'll leave it up there while I go through the comments here. Let's see. All right, we are caught up with it, as a matter of fact. So, all right, so let's go ahead and scroll down and do the bottom half here. So I picked, Arkansas to make it to the Final Four and Arizona to make it. So let's see through the East here. All right, so through the East, we have Baylor versus Norfolk. No need to pull up the screen on this one here. Baylor is going to win that one, I feel. Let's see, North Carolina versus Marquette. Let's take a deep dive into this one, guys. And so, matter of fact, give me 1 second real quick here, guys. Let's see. All right, so let's see. So UNC, on the season, they went 24-9. I've seen some good things from this team. They're 2-4 from top 25 there, but we remember recently they did beat Duke, down there in Duke. It was Coach K's final game there. They do have that going for themselves. Marquette, they are 6-6 versus top 25 here, so they've been tried, they've been tested, and all like that. And so both teams averaging pretty similar in terms of points per game. You look at their notable wins and stuff like that. And so Villanova, Marquette beat Villanova twice. Duke, for North Carolina, they split with Duke, so they won one, lost one. North Carolina lost by 29 to Kentucky. They lost by 17 to Tennessee. They've had some nasty losses now. Purdue, they lost by 9. They did win twice against Virginia Tech and lost once. And then for Wake Forest, they lost by 22 against Wake Forest. But they did beat Michigan by 21. But, man, a lot of losses there for North Carolina. Some big-time losses there. Meanwhile, Villanova, Marquette earlier, I said they won twice against Villanova. They lost to UCLA by 11. They ended up beating Illinois by 1 point there, lost to Uconn by twice in that one. lost to Wisconsin by 13. Pretty much split against Providence, won twice against Seton Hall, and lost against Creighton 3 times. Creighton just had their number. And so, I mean, do I believe right now in the Tar Heels? Because Marquette is more of a streaky type of a team here. And if they get going, you know, they're one of the fastest offenses in the nation, combined with the defense that slows their opponents down there. Which team do I think is going to get hot in this one, guys? That's what it's ultimately going to come down to. And so I like North Carolina, but I'm going to go ahead and get Marquette to win this one, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and go Marquette in this one. So Marquette beats North Carolina in that matchup. St. Mary's, I'm going to go ahead and go St. Mary's here to win that one over. I know we talked about a team like Indiana could get hot. And so I think Indiana or Wyoming there, but ultimately St. Mary's in this bracket, I'm going to go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt here to win this one versus their matchup here. Let's see, UCLA versus Akron. I'm going to go UCLA to win this one. All right, Texas versus Virginia Tech. Oh, man, this is for you. I'm going to go ahead and go Virginia Tech here. And the Hokies keep on poking away here. And so they get the W here versus Texas in this one. And another upset here. And let's see, Purdue versus Yale. I'm going to go Boilermakers here to represent the Big Ten. All right, Murray State versus San Francisco. Let's go ahead and pull up the things here. I'm going to have to take a closer look here. So San Fran versus top 25, 0-3. Murray 0-1 here. And so let's see. Looking at Murray, they lost to Auburn by 13. They beat Memphis by 2. They beat Chattanooga by 11. And Belmont, they won twice against. So you have that going right there. Meanwhile, for Davidson, won by 5. Against Davidson, they won by 5. For San Fran, they lost to Gonzaga by 3. Lost to St. Mary's twice. They lost. Okay, so I think right now, let's just see what they say about the comparisons here. And so for Murray State, the Racers entered the dance on a 20-game winning streak, featuring a 1-2 punch. A 20-game win streak. That's impressive. And so they combined, let's see, both KJ Williams and Tevin Brown combined for more than 35 points per game. Both were freshman starters on the 2019 team that reached a second round. Meanwhile, for San Fran, they're equally talented on both sides of the offense and defense. But their kryptonite to any team is they rely on three-point shots. So San Francisco relies on three-point shots, and the defense does a good job of making three-point shots difficult. And so in this matchup right here, I'm going to trust the tested and true guys here at Murray State to get this W here for them. So I'm going to go ahead and give them the W here against San Francisco. Kentucky, St. Peter's are going to go ahead and go to Kentucky in this matchup. And so I like how these matchups are looking right now. I do like these matchups. Baylor versus Marquette. I think Baylor wins that matchup there, guys. I'm going to go ahead and give this one to Baylor to win that matchup there. Let's see, St. Mary's versus UCLA. Who's going to win that one? UCLA. Will this be a good streak for him? I'm going to go ahead and go with UCLA. I thought about going St. Mary's here. I'm going to go UCLA. All right, Virginia Tech versus Purdue. And so Purdue right now entering as a 3 seed, representing the Big Ten in this one. Honestly, Big Ten, I love how Purdue is matched up there. I do. But ultimately, Virginia Tech is playing tremendous basketball. And right now, Purdue's coming fresh off a loss here. And so I'm going to go ahead and give Virginia Tech this win, baby. Just win, baby. That's what Al Davis will say. Just win, baby. Virginia Tech will do just that over Purdue. And once again, another disappointing year for Purdue in the bracket. Going home earlier than they would like. Let's see. Murray State versus Kentucky here. And so Kentucky, they're currently the 2 seed here. And so they could very well win this game here. Murray State, if they can get hot right now, I feel like they could win it. But Kentucky's just a very good team. These 2 teams would go back and forth here. But ultimately in this matchup right here, I'm going to go ahead and say, let me just check the numbers one more time here, guys, before I make that decision. Kentucky 3-6. I want to take a look at Kentucky's schedule here just to make sure. Okay, so they beat Kansas by 18. That's impressive. 1 win versus Tennessee, 2 losses. Lost to Duke by 8. Let's see. Lost by 9 to Auburn. Lost by 2 there. Beat Alabama twice. Won by North Carolina by 29 points, guys. 29 points. But Murray's rocking a 20-game win streak, guys. A 20-game win streak. Kentucky does just about everything well, though. But I have seen Kentucky taking a few games that I felt like they didn't play their best. This is tough, guys. This is tough. This is really tough. Kentucky, Murray State here. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give Murray State this victory, guys. In upsetting fashion here. Kentucky losing. I know probably not the most popular pick there, but I'm going to go ahead and say Murray State gets that victory. So here we go. What happens when the rubber meets the road here? What happens when two teams that are streaking right now, that are peaking right now? What happens when they run into each other for Virginia Tech versus Murray State here? I'm going to go ahead and say that this is the game right here that I'm going to go ahead and say that Murray State beats Virginia Tech. Sorry about that, old man. I think it's the point where Murray State gets that W. Meanwhile, Baylor versus UCLA. I'm going to go ahead and say that in this matchup right here, this is the point where, let's see, looking at their top 25 matchups, Baylor 5-3, UCLA 4-4. I think UCLA was the upset, guys. UCLA gets the upset here and gets the win. Talk about how crazy this bracket is right now, guys. Absolutely crazy. But you know what? This is March Madness. This is the time where you bring out all the craziness right here. But Baylor gets that upsetting loss right there to UCLA. And so UCLA versus Murray State. Who's going to get that W, guys? And so I think when this is another tough one, guys, but I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm going to go ahead and rock with Murray State here over UCLA here. Somehow they come up with the victory, guys, in this matchup here. UCLA probably would be my favorite to win that one, but Murray State gets the upset here. And so time to go on to the Midwest Division. But let me see what you guys are saying here in the comment section. I'm sure you guys are saying there's a lot of crazy picks here taking place. All right, let's see. Let's see. Jay says, I can see Virginia Tech go far. And so, yeah, it was tough there with them versus Murray State. I almost said Virginia Tech. I almost said that, but did not take that route. Let's see. Braden says he's got USC beating Auburn. And so, all right, we'll get to that in a second. You guys know how I felt about Auburn throughout the regular season. You guys know how I felt about that. And so let's go ahead and get ready for this matchup here. So give me 1 second here, guys. And so, and then we're getting ready to do the Midwest Division, guys. And so, but this is absolutely fun. And I appreciate you guys so much for joining me and still being here and all like that. You know, we're having so much fun talking about this, guys. And so, yeah, obviously the Tom Brady news, all that stuff that took place there, guys, that was just incredible. But let me see here. All right, so let's see. All right, so here we go. Kansas. I got Kansas winning this one, guys. There's no need to play around with that one. I got Kansas winning that one. All right, San Diego State versus Creighton. Going to have to break this one down, guys. And so in terms of opponents' points per game, Creighton's giving up more points than San Diego State is. Let's see, record versus top 25. San Diego State 2-2, Creighton 5-6. Creighton's been battle-tested this season. Looking at some of the notable results here, you see for San Diego State, St. Mary's, they won that one by 10 against Colorado State, 2 wins, 1 loss. Lost to Boise State 3 times. They lost to Michigan by 14. That hurts. They lost to USC by 15, but they won against Wyoming by 7. Meanwhile, Creighton versus Villanova, 1 win, 2 losses, won twice against Uconn, split versus Providence, lost twice against Seton Hall. Let's see, Colorado State says lost by 14 against Colorado State. Won 3 times against Marquette. That does bode well for them, but lost twice against Xavier. So just wipe that out. And so they say for San Diego State, there may not be a team that relies more on defense to win games than this team. The Aztecs are tremendous at that end, shining in nearly every metric. On the flip side, they are challenged offensively, leaning heavily on their powerful guard, Matt Bradley, to keep them afloat. I mean, they're used to some ugly wins, it sounds like. So they're used to some ugly wins. And quite frankly, the defense is unable to do their job. Then quite frankly, they'll end up losing. So it's going to come down to them for their defense having to be enough and doing just enough offensively to get by. Meanwhile, Creighton, they said it brings one of the best glass clearing and rim protecting squads in the tournament, as their defense ranks among the nation's best. So 2 teams with great defense. Expect that to be a low-scoring game, guys. Let's see, sophomore center Ryan. I can't pronounce that name right there, but senior power forward another Ryan as well. Hawkins anchors a stout. So 2 seniors at the forward. I do like this. That's going to cause some problems right there. The Blue Jays are a young team and inexperience is reflected in high turnover rates and inconsistent offense, but they can score just enough to win and eke out close games. So a very defensive game here. Creighton, San Diego State. I love me some San Diego State, guys. I do. I love their defense and all about their defense. However, though, Creighton here, I just feel like they'll find a way to win a close one here in this matchup. So I got Creighton over San Diego State, guys. And so let's see, Iowa versus Richmond. I'm going to go with the Hawkeyes here. Hawkeyes win that one over Richmond here. And so, quite frankly, Richmond should just be happy to be in there. I got no doubt the Hawkeyes can go in there and take care of business in that one. Providence versus South Dakota State here. Let me take a closer look here at South Dakota State here. Providence is 4-2 in top versus top 25 there. San Diego State 0-1 against top 25, so no top 25 wins here. 18-0 in the conference. That is impressive. I'll pat them on the back for that. But they lost to Alabama by 16 points. They won against Washington State by 3 points, and they lost again against Missouri State by 12. I've seen enough. That's enough that I need right there to convince me to go with Providence to win that matchup there. Let's see. LSU versus Iowa State. Let me see what you guys are saying right now. All right, let me see. I think this is where I left off at. Let's see. Braden says he's got USC beating Auburn. Okay. I can see that. Old man says, I'm telling you, JB, Hokies win it. You say you got 900 on the Hokies winning it all. They got you 900. You believe they can win you 900 more. If this happens to be the case right there, old man, I mean, that would just be tremendous. If the Hokies go from being at one point, they were the first 4 out, but they earned their way in there. And if they can keep this streak going, my goodness. And let's see, but that would be insane. Let's see, Braden said this has been one of your best streams. And so I appreciate that, Braden. I appreciate that. I know I kept you guys here for a long time. And so once I conclude this bracket here, we'll get through the comments, and then that'll be the end of the stream there. But yeah, definitely, it's been a great stream, guys. A great one. I definitely enjoyed this one. Definitely one of my favorite ones on the year. But let's see. Both of these teams the opponents are averaging about 63 points a game here for both of these squads here. Record-wise, they're pretty similar here. Top 25. LSU 3-5 against top 25 teams, while you've got Iowa State 4-7. All right, so let's see. Points per game there. That does favor LSU. And so looking at some of these games here, I do like the fight for Iowa State. They beat Iowa by 20. Did not know that. But they lost twice to Baylor. They won one time against Texas Tech, lost twice, split with Texas, lost twice to Kansas, split with Oklahoma, split with TCU, beat Memphis by 19, and they beat Creighton by 6 points there. So I saw some good stuff there, but I saw some really bad stuff as well. But let's see, for LSU, Kentucky, they split with Kentucky, split with Tennessee, lost by 15 to Auburn, lost all 3 times to Arkansas. Let's see, split with Bama, lost to TCU by 9 points, and won twice against Texas A&M. LSU is one of the youngest and least experienced teams in the tourney, having very little carry over from last season. The Tigers have one of the highest turnover rates in the country and struggle mightily with perimeter shooting. They crash the offensive glass and get to the line at a decent rate. Defense, however, is where this team excels. So another defensive team, they defended 3 well, forced turnovers at an extremely high rate. And so a young team, let's see, the Cyclones, though, have everything you want in a Cinderella team. They're elite defensively. And against a young team, that's going to pay off dividend right there against a young team like LSU in the tournament. They're ranking among the top teams in adjusted defensive efficiency, turnover percentage, and 3-point shooting allowed. Isaiah Brockington, they also have a player who can take the game over at any point. The Penn State transfer is the heart and soul of this team, putting up 17.5 points per game and 7.2 rebounds this season. So based upon that, I like the Cyclones in this matchup to get the win here against LSU. Sorry, LSU. Better luck next year. Wisconsin versus Colgate here. I like Wisconsin in this matchup here. Got them winning this one. USC versus Miami. And so let's go ahead and see what they say here. So the opponent's points per game here for Miami, 71. USC about 66 versus top 25. You've got USC 1-4, Miami 1-2. And so points per game for themselves, Miami wins that category, averaging almost 75 points a game here, but USC not far behind, averaging almost 73 points a game here. You look at this. And so looking at USC, they won 1, lost 2 against UCLA, lost twice to Arizona. Can't blame them there. Arizona's one heck of a squad. They beat San Diego State by 15, split with Oregon, won twice against Washington State and won by 3 points against Colorado. Meanwhile, for Miami, they split against Duke. They beat North Carolina by 28 points. That's why I'll say that again. Beat North Carolina by 28 points. But they lost to Bama by 32 points. So just wipe that out the door. They split with Virginia Tech, won twice against Wake Forest, and lost to Notre Dame by 4 points. And so let's see. The Canes have won 18 of their 24 games to end the regular season. And while that they say their record may not be overwhelming, the fact that 5 of those losses came by less than 5 points show their ability to play to the level of the competition here. And so I do like that aspect for them. Meanwhile, for USC, led by Isaiah Mobley, 14.3 points per game, 8.5 rebounds. The Trojans are one of the tallest teams in the country. 4 of their 5 starters are at least 6'9", so they have height. One of the best rebounding teams in the country. On offense, this group plays at a relatively slow pace and typically likes to work the ball inside. USC's biggest weakness is free throw shooting, which is always a concern in close games. Ultimately, the Trojans will only go as far as the defense can carry them. But when you have height like that, there's so much to love about this USC team. I can see why a lot of people have this team creating upsets and all like that in the tournament. And you know what? I certainly agree with them. USC has all the talent in the world to go out there and to create some upsets. And so I have USC losing this game right here. I'm going to say the Hurricanes find a way. They're going to play one of their better games that they've played this season, and they're going to upset USC in that matchup there. A lot of people are going to pick USC in the bracket to win this one. I got Miami pulling the upset here against USC in that matchup there. Auburn versus Jacksonville State. We're not going to kid ourselves here. Auburn wins that matchup. All right, here we go. So now we're on to the next one here. Let's see. Round of 32. Kansas versus Creighton. I like Kansas in this matchup there. Creighton, who can't give him a challenge there, but I got Kansas there. Iowa versus Providence. I'm going to go Hawkeyes with this one. All right, Iowa State versus Wisconsin. And so Wisconsin, someone's got to represent the Big Ten, right? Someone's got to do it. And so, but Iowa State will play them tough, but I think Wisconsin gets this one and gets to the Sweet 16. Miami versus Auburn. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and say, I got to think about this one. I'm going to go ahead and say Miami's been playing great. They won 18 of their last 24, guys. And so Auburn has been kind of shaky as of late. I want to say Auburn here, and I'm going to say Auburn. I'm going to say Auburn here. I think Miami, they don't make it to the Sweet 16 here, so I think they end up losing to Auburn. Auburn gets that victory. And so here we go. Number 1, Kansas versus number 5, Iowa. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and say, Kansas is known to get an upset here and there. They're known to be upset here and there. They really are. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm still thinking about this one, guys. Still thinking about this one. We saw Iowa out there today. We know what Kansas brings to the table, guys. And so I could very well see Iowa winning this matchup here. However, I'm going to go ahead and say that Kansas gets this game right here. So Kansas gets the win over Iowa. I really thought about going Iowa, guys. I really thought about going Hawkeyes here. I could see them getting the upset here, but ultimately Kansas wins this game, I think. And so here we go. Wisconsin versus Auburn. And so Wisconsin, they have the makings of a team that can certainly beat Auburn. We know Auburn's been kind of shaky here, guys. They really have been here, but we know how the Big Ten has struggled a little bit here once they get to this point of the season, but that won't be the case in this one. Wisconsin beats Auburn here, and they move on to face Kansas. And so Kansas versus Wisconsin. And so I like Kansas a lot in this matchup. I really do. And so I still got to think about this one, guys. Still got to think about this one. I'm going to go Kansas. I'm going to go Jayhawks win this one over Wisconsin. I thought about that one, but ultimately Kansas just a little bit more talented here. And so I think Kansas wins that one. All right, so here we go, guys. This is my Final Four. And so on one side, we had Upset City take place. Arkansas versus Murray State on one side. On the other side, we've got Arizona versus Kansas. And so here we go. So on this side, we got 2-1 squaring off against each other here. On this side, we got a 4 versus a 7. And so breaking this one down, I will break this one down. Arkansas versus Murray State. Now, Murray State, 30-2 on the year, right? Rocking a 20-game win streak here. The opponent's point per game here, good defense, averaging 72.3 points a game there, 0-1 versus top 25. But we know all that stuff. We went through that stuff earlier. What I care about is the team summary here. And so, of course, seeing the stars here for this one. I mean, the Razorbacks, they've just done so much to get to this point, guys. I mean, 4 players averaging double digits here. But as for Murray State, I mean, a combined 1-2 punch here for averaging 35 points a game here. And both of these guys were starters on the 2019 team that reached the second round, led by Ja Morant. Obviously, he's not there, guys, but man, this team is one of the best offensive rebounding teams here. But for Arkansas, I think this is the kind of game where your weakness could show up potentially in terms of outside shooting there. But I'm going to go ahead and say Arkansas, guys. I'm going to go ahead and say Arkansas finds a way. All that competition throughout the SEC, it means something, and they end up beating Murray State in this one. All right, so I got Arkansas making it all the way to the big dance, guys. I thought about Murray State. I really thought long and hard about them, guys, but a Final Four, I think that's pretty good for them. So Arkansas, there's a couple people that think Tennessee will be the team from the SEC if a team gets there that will represent them. But, hey, Arkansas, they're just as good, and they have just a greater chance there. All right, Final Four, Arizona versus Kansas. I've got Arizona, guys. No need for me to pull that one up. My mind's made up that between these two teams, Arizona would win that matchup. So this is my national championship game, guys. Arkansas versus Arizona. And so obviously you guys saw the path to get here. So who do I have winning this one? I'm going to go ahead and say that, just looking at that comparison one last time, guys, I'm going to go ahead and say that Arizona versus Arkansas. Arizona averaging 84.6 points a game, going 18-2 in the conference, 5-2 versus conference play. I mean, there's just so much this team does. So much this team does. Fresh off of a comeback win over UCLA in the Pac-12 championship. One of the best and most consistent teams all season. 31-3. I love consistency. They have great size in the front court. One of the top assist teams in the country. If you're not afraid to pass the ball out there, that's going to make the difference when it comes down in the stretch. A team that's smart. They play for each other. Although it's an extremely young group, they're extremely efficient on both sides of the court here. And so I know they have the lack of experience here, but hey, they'll get experience as they continue to win. I'm going to go ahead and say that Arizona wins this matchup, guys. And so Arizona's going to win. And if I got to give a final score here, I'm going to go ahead and say that they win by the final score of, let's see, final score being, let's go, what am I thinking here? I'm going to go ahead and say 70, I'm going to go 75 to 70 in that. And so, but there you guys go. That is it, guys. That is what I got here. So I got Arizona winning this one over the Arkansas Razorbacks, but I got Arkansas getting on one heck of a hot streak here. And so, yeah, you guys can see upset cities across the board here. But, yeah, some wild picks here. And so you guys know how crazy March Madness can get. Obviously, this is my bracket right here. So, yeah, this is great. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and submit mine here. So, but, yeah, that is my pick, guys. And so, yeah, I'll go ahead and fill that out in a second. Yeah, I'll fill that in a second, guys. But, yeah, that is my pick. And so, but, yeah, tell me, what do you think, guys? I got Arizona cutting down the net, guys. Arizona here and a lot of upsets along the way here. And so hopefully this is the year that your boy goes ahead and gets it right year after year. I've been trying to get this stuff right. And so hopefully this is the year that my bracket ends up being right. But I got Arizona cutting down the nets here. But the path that it took to get here was extremely interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Let me see what you guys had to say. What was the last comment that I put up here? And so, all right, let's see. All right, let's see where I am. Apologize for how long it's taken here. All right, I think this is where I am right now in the stream, guys. But just give me 1 second here. And so, all right, so let's see. Old man says, JB and everyone, Tom Brady's last 9 seasons, he lost the playoffs, and then the next year he won the Super Bowl. So if history repeats itself, Bucks winning the Super Bowl. And so old man has definitely made that observation, as have I. I've definitely noticed that about Tom Brady over the last couple of years there. Will it continue? But the AFC, there's just so many great teams in the AFC. Whoever they end up playing next year, it's going to be one hell of a matchup, guys. But that is going to be for sure in that one. So let's go ahead and see where we currently stand right now in the comment section. But great observation. Let's see. Old man says, I would say definitely a top 3 stream. And so definitely appreciate that, old man. You've been around for most of those streams, so I definitely appreciate that. Absolutely. Let's see. Braden says he's got Murray State going all the way to the Elite Eight. And so Braden says Murray State all the way to the Elite Eight. And so, oh yeah, you saw where I had them going. I had them going all the way to the Final Four and all like that. I got a lot of faith in this team here. I really like that team. And so I like Arkansas a lot. I like them a lot. So, I mean, that was a tough one between those two, but I chose Arkansas ultimately because of playing in the SEC for so long. But obviously, you know how these games go. Let's see. Braden says he's got Chattanooga beating Illinois. I will not show that comment to Azashak. He would not be too thrilled about Chattanooga beating his Fighting Illini. Let's see. Braden says he doesn't have UAB beating Houston. Houston's a great team. But you know an upset's going to happen here or there. And so UAB, I'm rooting for that to happen. For them to get that upset. Braden says he would love to see Iowa play Kansas. That would be one heck of a matchup. I'm rooting for that matchup. I'm hoping that we all get that matchup. That's a matchup that we deserve to see. I'm sure the Duke fans are not too thrilled about me having Duke getting put out as early as I did have them put out. But honestly, this team, they need to be on upset watch. Let's see. Braden says, I like the prediction of Murray State going all the way to the Final Four. Appreciate that, Braden. Appreciate that. So I'll go ahead and move this down right here. Sorry, you guys can take a look again at the bracket here in case you guys want to see this stuff again. But yeah, absolutely. That was my pick. Absolutely. Let's see. Old man says, if it goes down how you pick it, will be a crazy tournament. Either way, this tournament is going to be fun to watch. You already know that it's going to be a fun one to watch now. And so after this stream, going to go ahead, eat. Haven't eaten yet, guys. So I will go ahead and eat after this stream. And then after a while, probably around midnight, go through and start, looking for some streams and stuff like that to set up as well. But, hey, we've got some great ones to look forward to. I'm excited. I'm nervous for my Buckeyes. I am nervous for my Buckeyes. Loyola Chicago could very well upset up. Well, I shouldn't even say upset. They could very well beat us in that one right there. But I'm hoping that my Buckeyes come through and get us that win. But I think Villanova is about as far as we could potentially go right there. But hey, if an upset happened there, I wouldn't mind. If they can beat Villanova, then watch out, as this team could very well could be getting hot at the right time. But right now, haven't seen the consistency to believe in them to go further than that. Let's see. Braden says, I love how many upsets you have. And so, oh, yeah, I mean, I've learned my lesson over the years. A lot of upsets there for sure. Braden says, I just hope that I get to the Final Four, right? And so, I mean, hey, what if the Hawkeyes end up getting to the Final Four? I mean, there's certainly a team that could represent the Big Ten. And so if I scroll down here, that matchup against Kansas, if they can win that matchup right there, if it's Iowa versus Wisconsin, I got Iowa winning that one. And so if they can beat Kansas, they could very well end up getting to a Final Four or something like that. But yeah, and so on one side of the bracket here, got these upsets here. On the other side, though, I've got Kansas. I'm sorry, on one side I've got consistency winning out. On the other side, I've got the streakiness and the upsets taking place here. But yeah, this would be crazy. Let's see, Jay says, great stream as always, JB. Yeah, appreciate that, you guys. Absolutely. But yeah, this is going to conclude here, this stream for here, but no need to stress, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel here. And so we'll definitely make sure that we go ahead and break down, these brackets later on, probably after college basketball season is in. We'll probably just have a stream where I'll go through everybody's bracket here, or as many brackets as we can, and just see how everybody fared. So make sure, if you haven't already, it's in the description in terms of the link for you guys to go ahead and fill out your own brackets here, along with the password to join the JB Nation. I'll be checking and looking to see what you guys come up with. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Braden says, see you, JB. Yeah, see you, Braden. And yeah, you guys have a great start to your week as well. Old man says, great stream, JB, and get some food, brother. Yeah, appreciate that, old man. Absolutely. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been real, guys. Absolutely. Let's see. Jay says, sure wish Kansas State was in the tourney. I can't stand those Kansas Jayhawks anyways. JB, great stream. Go get something to eat, my man. Yeah, appreciate that, Jay. Appreciate that. Yeah, you guys take care. Thanks again for joining. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, guys. But yeah, thank you guys so much here for joining and being a part of the JB Nation. It's been great. And so we're finally here. We waited for this moment. It's been so real. Not only that, we found out Tom Brady's coming back, and all kind of crazy news is happening in the NFL as well. So, I'm going to have to get on the news for that too. But yeah, you guys enjoy this moment here, and we'll be back later on this week for some great basketball action. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. See you guys next time, and take care, everybody.